And we live. What's good, everybody? It's Game Talk. I'm your host, Gangster. I'm here with Brimstone.
Hooray!
And my boy Rev.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing today?
Blue might join us a little later today. He's got some.
Make sure to get a cup of your Rand handled.
Of course, that had to come on with volume. So, how's everybody doing today? I see JC Gaming's already in the chat. What's good, JC?
I think I just got Rand handled by my internet provider earlier.
Oh, and it's not even raining. It's pouring over here, man. Yeah, streets are already kind of flooded around my place.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's no joke, man. That's when California decides it's winter, man. It's winter.
Winter has come.
Winter has come.
I actually don't mind the rain, really, but I don't want it in, like, severe buckets all the time.
Right? Yeah.
Isn't it in Arizona and, Utah and all those areas getting snow?
Bro, dude, Kingman and Golden Valley got record-breaking snow levels this year.
Jesus.
They normally only get like a few inches and then it's that day, so you never know it snowed. But this shit's been sticking because they've gotten up to almost a foot of snow, like for the first time ever. So,
what's up, Arrow Slayer? How you doing, man?
What up, Arrow? How's it going? Welcome to the stream, sir. We got some juicy topics for you guys today. We hope you enjoy. Make sure you smash that like button, please. Turn on the little bell icon. Sorry, I'm just trying to, you know.
Make sure to get your
make fun of all the other YouTubers.
Make sure to get your Overteam.
It's really important that you hit that little bell, please, sir.
No, you gotta do it right. Guys, we're sponsored by NordVPN. Get your favorite VPN and secure yourself down below in the description. 11111. Just enter that code. You get
that or Glasswire. One of the two.
Yeah, come get Glasswire.
Sponsored by Audible.
Yeah, Audible. You know,
no, when your ads start sponsoring other ads, that's the thing is when you start having issues.
Just so you know.
Well, this ad's brought to you by Glasswire. Glasswire explain the Glasswire. The Glasswire's like, then Glasswire's promoting this one. It's like, Jesus.
Speaking of YouTube, that whole thing that's going on with them right now is ridiculous. Right now, the whole separation of their platform. If you want to kick off some, speaking of YouTube.
Okay, so, all right. Okay, we could do this. We could do this.
That was a good segue to it.
So YouTube is its own worst enemy. All right.
Yes, it is.
And what I mean by that isn't even so much about what this is. Their actions of lying to the government, talking about how they don't put ads on children videos, is what caused all of this to happen. Not just the ISIS shit that happened in 14, not just the pedo shit that happened last year. No, we're talking. This predates all this, okay? The FTC or the FCC or who the hell ever they are,
FCC, yeah,
asked Google employees and their VP, do you put ads on children videos? And they said no. So all these years later, after the big huge court thing that took place, they got fined over $150 million.
Well, also too, the government's going in and automating the site. That's the other thing they're doing too, which YouTube claimed when they said about the children's ads, right? You're saying they claimed that they just don't have the automation there and they just can't afford it. And
yeah, but you know what? They should have started off with that instead of ending up in the predicament that they're in now.
Well, now they're reversing. Now, since the government's coming in, they're reversing everything. So now they're separating the sections of YouTube, kind of like a streaming platform. And a lot of people are freaking out over it about revenue. But here's the thing about that, though. You know, if you're not monetized on YouTube, you don't have to worry about it. But if you're monetized on YouTube, you do have to worry about it. And here's the thing, and me and Blue were talking about this last week after you guys did the overtime. And me and him were both saying the same thing. It's either these big YouTubers are going to have to either, you know, find another means to do what they need to do, or they already have it in place. Because what's going to happen is you're going to watch a lot of these big YouTube names jump off the platform.
Yeah.
Well, dude, they have Patreon shit. They got Patreons. Some of them even have GoFundMe's. Like, it's not like they're going to be hurting that much. If they, I mean, even if, and Boogie has admitted this, the majority of his money comes from other platforms. That YouTube is really no longer the main paycheck anymore. That, in fact, that is a very small portion of what he makes.
Well, this reminds me of
to Twitch and Patreon.
This reminds me of 2010, though. We were saying this in 2010 that the survival of the fittest. What's going to happen is it was the Wild Wild West. They're coming in now. Either you're going to watch your big names kind of fall out because they're not going to comply to the rules, and then they're just going to die off, or they're going to go somewhere else for their time, and you're going to watch a lot of big names. It's already happening. We were already looking at Storyfire and BitChute. A lot of people have just jumped ship. So, you know what? Here's my middle finger. I'm out. I don't need to deal with the noise. I'm going to go over here to Twitch, Mixer, whatever I got to do, take my following with me, and I'll just go make money somewhere else for my time. That'll actually give me the money and not cents on a dollar.
Garuda, man, you haven't even been one chat message and you're already making me do work. It's my favorite high maintenance chatter.
But me and you, Brimstone, were saying this 7 years ago, and everybody kind of swept it under the rug. Like, oh, it's just YouTube being YouTube, and then now it's everybody's finally realizing the government's coming in, and it's like, oh my God, I'm mad, I'm angry, and it's like, well, guys, you should have spoke out like 5 years ago when this started, like the ball was rolling then. It's been a snowball effect since. And Google just keeps adding more and more and more to their terms of service. And it's not, if you don't read carefully, you're just going to be screwed over from the changes. And your channels is going to be gone.
Absolutely. Dum dilly donuts.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. It's true. It's true. We stated this forever ago. People on this platform were not welcoming of that information. They called us quacks. They called us fucking retards.
Tinfoil
hats. All of it. Tinfoil hats. Like, we called this shit out. And yet here we are. Guess what? Guess what we're doing? We were right. We were right.
We should be betting in Vegas because every call we called like 7 years ago is happening.
Pretty much, bro. Pretty much. Like, and it's like, and here's the thing. I don't want to be right. I didn't want to be right because I like this platform. I really do. I love this platform. I got years tied up in this platform. I got community members that are closest friends of mine, like, that I would have never met otherwise, you know? So it's not like I hate this platform. I want to see it succeed. But Google has lost its former glory. They don't understand business anymore. They're no longer in tune with their communities. They are alienating their communities and the better part of their businesses that are tied up with these influencers for the betterment of what? To adhere to some SJW malarkey? Like,
well, here's
why?
my deal. Here's my deal. If it's too much of an issue with them, just sell the platform. Sell it to somebody.
Sell it to somebody else that will actually take care of it and love it, dude.
That will actually do the the server overhead, the overheads, and get the right rules and regulations in place. I get it. YouTube doesn't have Google just doesn't have the funds to do the auditing that they need to do. I get it. So they brought in the government to do it. Problem is now all the skeletons that were in their closets now coming out. And the thing is, that's what you get. That's what you get when saying, oh, by the way, we don't have a problem on this platform. No, we don't have issues. We don't have plaguing issues. And, they are now making the platform separate itself between adults, teenagers, and kid platforms.
Twitch does it. Mixer's doing it. I'm sure DLive, once they get bigger, they're going to end up having to do that. Like, it's the natural flow of things, bro.
And either you get with the program or you just fade away. That's just the way it's going to be. You fade away. And I know that sucks. That's not everybody's favorite thing. But, when you sweep it under the rug way too long as viewers, that's what's going to happen. You're going to have Big Brother coming in and taking control of it.
You know what this all comes down to, right, though? All of this is years of buildup. This is buildup of YouTube ignoring our pleas, ignoring our ideals, and trying to better the platform, doing all the things that could have prevented all of this, right? How many times did YouTubers report things to YouTube and they just went completely ignored? Like, I mean,
Or they did the exact opposite of what they were reporting.
yeah, exactly. Like, it's just years of buildup of this business nonsense, and it's unfortunate that it has to come to this. I didn't want it to come to this, but I mean, I'd rather this platform be regulated to death than have it die completely.
Yep.
I mean, at least we could still upload videos, right? Like, that was the whole
For
point
now.
of YouTube. Well, that was the whole point of YouTube. It was YouTube.
Well,
It was meant
YouTube,
it was meant to express yourself. You know.
well, YouTube back in the day, you only uploaded a 10-minute video. No, it wasn't even 10 minutes.
It was a 3-minute video for you.
It was 5 minutes. It was 5 minutes, and yeah, it was 5 minutes, and this was back in what, 08? It was 5 minutes, 5-minute segments, and people would upload their videos in parts for one video at a time, and then they added monetization, and that's when they boosted everybody to 10-minute videos. Then it became 10-minute. Then it went to 60 minutes after that. Then live streaming came in right as we did the old podcast we used to do. That's when live streaming became a thing on YouTube. But it was very janky how they did it too.
Yeah.
Oh,
back in the day.
was still janky. Like, how about the algorithm that punishes you for live streams? When, God, like live stream, they should be.
Oh, what? Nintendo coming into your streams and literally, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Oh yeah, we don't want you streaming that at all. So let's demonetize you and give you a strike just because we're Nintendo, because we can do that.
And not just shit like that, but like literally, you can see this with like any of the big streaming channels. Like Mahler's channel is a good example of this with EFAP. Like, in order for him to avoid being fucked by the algorithm, he's got to put all of his live streams on private after they're done and then re-upload them to a separate channel, because if you're not doing multiple small videos per day, the algorithm punishes you.
Yep.
Which is like,
that's been a thing for a while on YouTube. They just punish select YouTubers, and it's like,
it's so stupid. Like, YouTube should be rewarding people for live streaming, because that's the easiest shit in the world.
well, what they did just recently is they brought in a bunch of big names, and the problem is with that is, like, they're letting them have freedom, but meanwhile the smaller streamer that's on YouTube just gets screwed over at the drive-thru.
Yeah, Garuda, free speech I miss too.
Well, what is it? Twitter is becoming the new Tumblr.
Oh, wow. I mean,
That's been a
man.
thing for years, bro.
yeah, it's the wild wild west on Twitter. You can go find
Unless you
your
dead name somebody.
you can go find your chicks with tits, and you can go find other things, and then let's say you go speak out on something, somebody could just go right alongside of it and report you, and you're just like, this motherfucker, over to the side, and then you turn around and you go, well, that guy is all being defamatory. Oh, report him. Oh wait, it doesn't work that way. You just get banned, and then you're just permanent banned, IP banned off of Twitter, and then you have to use VPNs and shit to get back on it. So stupid.
Yeah. JC says the problem is when corporations like CNN and such are taking over this site. That is an absolute concern, and YouTube wants it to happen. They are going hard on the YouTube TV aspect, or what. I mean, they want to turn YouTube into the next, like, basically cable TV distributor, and want channels like TV has. And it's like, dude, you guys are retarded, because that's exactly the opposite of what YouTube is.
Here.
And what most
Exactly.
people want YouTube to be.
YouTube was founded on the premise that this was not a traditional media site.
Yeah.
This was made for people to entertain other people, not get on a fucking network like CNN and report the fucking news and not get flagged, but tell YouTubers who the site was originally made for to not do that. When
Here.
that was like the main thing of what brought people to YouTube.
Here, I'll tell you guys this. Me and Brimstone were saying this, and even Blue was saying this. I don't know if Gangster would agree with this, but if you don't like what's going on with a platform, here's the thing. Get off the platform. Don't give them any of your money. Don't give them any of your time of your views.
Bro, I
don't
use
buy their
wrong.
services.
Let me promote something. If you guys have to watch YouTube, do what I do or do what we do. Opera GX is free. It's better than Google, and it's better than most browsers. Built-in blocker, which is way better than pretty much any of the shit that's on Google right now.
Oh yeah, that it actually works. I use it with Firefox and it works great. I never get an ad on YouTube or anything.
Just use uBlocker on any browser. You're golden.
Well, I was saying to get Opera GX because it's already turned on. So.
Well,
And it blocks encrypted ads.
And you're not
here's the
supporting
thing.
Google by using Chrome.
Well,
There you
here's the thing too. Take a look at Storyfire, take a look at BitChute, and take a look at Dailymotion and a lot of those other platforms. Because those are the platforms that are gonna start becoming bigger. I'm telling this now because of this. A lot of people are gonna walk off the platform. It's already happening with big names already.
Yeah.
And it's disappointing because Google was the shit when it first started. Now
Dude,
it's
Google
more-
was the shit on everything. Technology, software suites. Like, they did awesome Google Docs applications that mimicked fucking Windows applications, like Word and all those apps, dude. Like, Google was the shit. And then all of a sudden, they just went poof.
Well, you got YouTube, you got Stadia, and then you got Android. And I'm gonna say this. It's fuck all with all those platforms. I mean, I would be
Well,
on
they're
an
doing
Android.
away with their applications. You know that, right? Like, I think they're ending support for anybody that uses Google Docs and all those.
Yeah, but here's my thing is like Android, right? Android could be so much of a good platform, right? But Google just goes fuck all to all of it.
Yep.
Like, they take 10 steps forward and then they take 10 steps back. That's why I was kind of excited to see what Ubuntu was gonna do, because basically that's virtually what Android is.
Yeah.
They were gonna make their own little, platform where people could download and put on their phone, their Android phone at the moment. And it's like, I want other companies to come out and have alternatives to what Google's doing, because it's fuck all. It's like Stadia. Stadia's a big fuck all. I mean, and sorry that I'm saying the F word so many times, but it's
Oh my God.
kind of true.
So Garuda just said, "What's up, Donji? Just make YouTube free speech in America, and YouTube CCP commie in China." And that I had to manually allow that chat. So something either CCP, commie, or China was auto.
Yeah, that happens in a lot of streams. Like, you could say F word and it'll just block you from saying it.
But there was no F bombs or anything. It was either China, commie, or CCP.
Right.
Like,
yeah, it's weird words.
man.
It's weird words. You could say China and somebody's China #1, like in some PUBG streams.
China
just to-
#1.
And you'll get it.
That's some
literally
crazy shit, man.
It'll go.
Good
asterisk,
job,
asterisk,
YouTube.
asterisk.
Yellow
Or Google.
Yellow Shrek 360 censored, blocked. Fuck. Like, I
Well,
said hi.
speaking-
Dude, I'm telling you, dude, like, YouTube, when it comes to their chat, is becoming like Reddit. You say hi in a thread, shadow banned. I know. I've been shadow banned 3
Well,
times.
keeping
for
on the
doing it.
Google platforms, you guys want to talk about Stadia real quick?
Yeah, let's talk about
Yep.
that shit show. You guys remember that big pile of shit from the from the Triceratops in
no.
Jurassic Park?
No. You
That is the better experience in Google Stadia.
Right.
Remember the event they had with Phil Harrison, the one that said $600 is a good idea for a console? That guy? Yeah, that's the guy that's fronting Stadia right now. That motherfucker.
And dare I say, people had a better time with 9/11 than Google Stadia.
Oh shit.
Damn.
Guys,
Tell us how you really feel, Brem.
guys, if you go to your backyard, you have a dog, the white dog shit on the lawn is better than Stadia right now. I'll say this. Stadia is a rushed product, and here's where my gripe is.
Gotcha.
Here's where my gripe is with Stadia. They have a founder's pack, they have a pro package, and then they have free package, right? My problem is when they turned around and they said, well, they're taking things out of the subscriptions. So
Yep.
the Buddy Pass comes with the founder's pack, right? But on the Pro package, that's just as the same amount of money. You don't get that. So what happens when you have kids in your house, right? Or you have like maybe a roommate and you want Stadia. Let's say you think you want it, right? You're fucked at the drive-thru because your better buddy, if you make one account and someone's paying for it per month, right? And you decide to go grab it on, let's say, your PC on the other side of the room. If you don't have the buddy pass, you're fucked. And they really screwed everybody at the drive-thru when the fact is they're using, custom Vega 56s and Intel chips, not AMD chips. It's coming out that they're not even using everything they promised.
Wait. For what now?
So they're servers, right?
Oh,
So
for the Stadia servers? Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, they're not using AMD tech. They're using the GPU of AMD, but it's a customized Vega 56 with loads of RAM on it.
You know what's funny is AMD CPUs are actually having higher yields than Intel server chips.
Yeah. Oh, dude, the Epics? Oh my God.
They could have saved a shit ton of money, bought a first-gen Epic CPU, and been done with it.
And it's going out and they've done comparisons. It doesn't look anything better than an Xbox One X.
Oh fuck no, it's never. Yeah, it ain't gonna happen.
And then gaming, if you're playing a fighter, just forget about it. You're not playing a fighter on Stadia.
That's what Blue said. Blue said because our boy Blue was telling us that
I've tested out Stadia. My buddy bought it.
He tried it and he said it was terrible. He said like fighters, it crashes in mid-round. It's
okay.
ass.
So well, not just that. I mean, the latency for something like a fighter is just going to be terrible because that's anything like that where input precision is key, and fighters are one of the best examples of that. It's just not going to work out, you know.
Well, here's the thing too. What people like, they promised 4K HDR for Destiny, and I've played Destiny on Stadia. A buddy of mine had Stadia, and he's refunding it. So you watch a lot of people refund their shit, and you watch Google pull a Blizzard where they're not gonna refund you, period, or do anything for you because they don't want to lose hand over fist. Playing Destiny 2 on Stadia is a joke. It doesn't look anything better than an Xbox One X, and they're using checkerboard rendering, okay, to 1440p at HDR.
You better be careful, dude. The 4K president is going to shit on you and tell you that that's real 4K.
I know what you're talking about, dude.
Don't you know checkerboard rendering is real?
And we're not talking about the Ultra. The Ultra overheats. The thing they throw in the unit, it overheats to 85 Celsius unless you throw heat sinks on top of the damn thing. And even then, it runs at 70 Celsius.
Dude, it's melted down pretty much every Google platform-based streaming device.
Well, they're using Marvell chips. They cheaped out.
It's still though, like they guaranteed that this would work on their stuff, and it doesn't.
Well, the reason why they rushed it out because they want to compete with Apple Arcade. That was their whole reason why they launched Google Stadia from the get-go. They wanted to be Apple, but Apple's not doing streaming service. They're doing a subscription-based service where you could get a certain amount of mobile games per month.
That's kind of cool.
For $4. They're not trying to be in the streaming business. Even Apple said it themselves. They are not even ready for
How much is their Apple device? Because I've thought about buying one just so I can. Because I heard their streaming device is actually really good.
Apple TV?
Yeah. That's what it's coming. That's what it's coming on, right? The Apple Arcade.
Phones, tablets, and it's called Arcade Plus, and you get Sega exclusively partnered up with Apple for the next Sonic games and whatnot through Arcade.
That's a bold move by Sega.
Well, you know why, don't you? Because Apple has probably one of the best. Well, Nintendo has a similar one too. Their compression, what they use for compression is amazing. Like, it is like wizardry, dude. Like, I'm trying to figure out how they do it.
So Apple TV, if you want an Apple TV, you could buy a Bluetooth controller, our Xbox controller you could sync up. And I believe the Apple TV is literally like 140. But
That's
you're
not bad
getting-
because
you're
if you
getting-
buy the
you're getting a
Roku-
terabyte drive, you're getting a whole bunch of stuff.
So if you buy the Roku Ultra, that's like $85. So you spend what, another $30 and you get something better. So that's not
And-
bad.
and
I'm
can
with
get a
you, Greta.
refurbished
Apple is Garbo.
I
Look,
wouldn't.
we
I
can all
wouldn't-
agree to disagree, but I cannot argue the fact that they do have some of the best compression for gaming on the market next to Nintendo.
Can I say this till Apple is Garbo? I've had my iPhone for like 3 years now, and every Android phone broke on me.
See, but I could say the same thing that like I've seen people with nothing but problems with the Apple phone, and I've had several Androids, and every one of them has lasted for at least 4 or 5 years with no problems.
Not
So-
me. I've always had the battery issue, dude. Like, I've had the battery issue forever with Android. That's why I gave up. If it
I've
wasn't
had
for the
hardware
battery,
See,
issues
and that's
with
weird
Android.
because Apple was deliberately gimping their battery life with their older phones.
yeah, but I'm on the 7 Plus.
The
where
7, the
that's
7,
right where they fixed it. So
Well, the 7 Plus.
Well, yeah, they were forced
fixed
to.
that issue.
Because
Well,
people
either
were
that
suing
or
them.
we go download some Google app that has what, fucking 30,000 different
Google was
adwares in
gimping-
it.
Companies were gimping their batteries to begin with. Samsung, LG, to a certain extent, was gimping their batteries on purpose to get you to buy,
More
buy the
batteries.
next generation of phone.
And more batteries, because Insureon was buying them in bulk there for a while.
And
I
then
mean,
also
this, the
too-
thing. What gets me though is like, even if I've never heard anything about Samsung or LG intentionally gimping their battery life, but even if that was the case with LG or Samsung or any Android phone, you could, God damn it, you could just replace the battery. You could order it online, Amazon or eBay, get a new battery and replace it yourself.
Not in all cases nowadays. It's mostly now done with it's like Apple iPhones. Like I wouldn't even want to go pry up a battery out of an iPhone anymore.
Well, that's the thing with Apple phones. The batteries are soldered in and shit like that.
It's adhesive in. Same with Samsung phones and LG. Like the new LG phones are all they're glass, and if you even try to remotely get into it, you have to remove like 3 adhesive strips to even get the battery, and it's a pain in the ass. And if you bend the battery just right, it'll explode.
Yeah. Well, that's a lithium-ion thing.
That's kind of scary. Like if you pull it wrong out of the casing, the thing will just explode or set on fire. That's pretty scary. So don't take your phone apart if you're not wanting to change out a battery and you don't know what you're doing. Don't do it.
Yeah, because I've had, like my first Android phone. That was some POS LG something or other. And the battery went bad on that thing, and $20 on eBay, got a new one, pop the case off, put it, switch it out.
I'll say
no big
this
deal.
iPhone's breaking. I'll say this: put a case on it. Like any phone, you should put a case
for
on
sure.
it. If
Yeah, right.
You should. Like if you're gonna have it for the long haul, you might just put a case on it and a screen protector and protect it. I'm not saying I'm not against Android. I would like to. If I had an opportunity, I'd have 2 phones. I would have an Android phone, the best of Android, and the best of Apple, and switch my SIM cards between them. Because there is some things Android I do like. that Apple
Amazon
doesn't
Echo
offer.
Dot, $22.
Ooh. And the Windows phone, I miss that. I miss Windows phone.
Windows, yeah. So that was another thing. My Windows Phone experience was amazing. Loved it.
I may not like
it.
the Windows Phone, but at least it was a competitor.
Yes, absolutely.
And I will give Samsung their due. At least they have a website to where you can buy their parts and replace, and Apple don't. So here's your difference. And LG has a website too, to where you can buy their parts for their phones and replace easily, which is really cool.
Hammered by artillery.
I see that.
Yeah, my Don G, mine right now is I can't remember who makes it. It's the Moto G5 Plus.
I think it's the Lenovo now that owns Motorola now. The Lenovo.
Oh, I don't think it's Motorola though. It's not a Motorola. It's a Moto G5. I have to.
Yeah, Motorola is now owned by. They call it a Motorola now. But it's the Motorola. I know what phone you're talking about, but it's owned by Lenovo now. It's by Lenovo company now. But Motorola learns from their mistakes, and they're trying to buy back all their assets now.
Oh, it
Which
was
is funny.
Motorola. Okay, yeah. So it was Motorola, and then now they were purchased by Lenovo. So fair enough.
Yeah, they're trying to. Motorola is now trying to buy all their assets back. Now, me and Brimstone have talked about that. Like, it's kind of funny how they sold off because they needed the money, and now since they have the money back, they're trying to buy all their shit back. It's pretty funny, and then they're gonna lose money trying to buy their shit back from all these companies.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for XCloud. That's where I'm at with that. I played on XCloud on an Android phone. It runs so much better than Stadia. And Microsoft's not even touting they're trying to get to 4K HDR. They just want to give you a good experience for the bandwidth you have. They're not even trying to compete with, 4K HDR and stuff like that. And for how it works, it runs very well. Minus some bugs. But that's because, they're beta right now, alpha beta stages. Speaking of Microsoft, anybody excited for that Halo Reach coming to the
Oh my god, yes.
PC?
Give it to me, Daddy. Give it
I've
to
already
me, Daddy.
preloaded it on the Xbox app. I'm pretty excited.
Oh wait, so it does. So my Xbox version will work.
Yeah, if you have Game Pass right now, if you have Game Pass, or
I own the
like
game. So
yeah, you can go download it right now on the Xbox app. Yeah.
Is that
on PC?
Fuck. Is it the Xbox Companion or the Xbox app?
Xbox app.
God damn it! All right.
Yeah, that's one thing I get annoyed with Windows 10. They add apps. And speaking of apps, we were talking about this last night. What's up with the driver manufacturers going to DCH drivers and forcing us all to go to Windows Store apps? That's some shit. And breaking their encoders in the process. That's what bothers me most about the Windows 10.
That is shitty, bro. Like I didn't even know that was going.
Yeah. Try to use your NVINC encoder trying to play Call of Duty. You'll find out real quick that you're not doing that anytime soon. And I've heard even more horror stories. Like if you try to use NVINC for Minecraft, literally to stream, it'll literally crash OBS immediately. They're having problems with their encoder, same with AMD. And AMD wants to go the same way as Nvidia with DCH drivers and force you into Windows Store apps. And it's just annoying. And they don't work. The control panel, when you go get it, doesn't work. When you get it on the Windows Store app, you click on it 1,000 times, it won't even launch.
That's shitty.
Yeah, it's shitty.
And you have to do a whole freaking workaround to freaking get the standard driver back on your computer. You have to virtually unplug your Ethernet port and download the standard driver first, then unplug your Ethernet port.
Well, you could. You don't have to do that if you use Guru 3D uninstaller, because that has an option to disable the Windows Update function for drivers. So just as a FYI, if you're having trouble with that, you can boot up Guru 3D DDU direct driver uninstaller.
Yeah.
And it's got a little button to suspend Windows automatic updates of drivers, which is very handy if you are dealing with driver bullshit. So, shit.
You know what I haven't experienced since I switched back to the 980 Ti?
What?
Crashing.
You know what? Since having my 1660 Ti over my AMD shit, that's been working out great.
And I love AMD. That's the thing, is I love AMD. I've been an AMD customer for years. But the crashing, it just got to me, bro. Like it fucking got to me. I was like,
I'm still on first gen X370, and I'm like turning around and going.
That's weird because I haven't had any problems with my Vega.
I've just been annoyed with driver compatibility with AMD, and I'm kind of like looking at the blue team. Like I know their performance is not there like AMD, but I'm really looking in at next build will probably be an Intel, just because I can install, download, and it works. And AMD, like every time I like go install like a new update for their BIOS, something goes wrong, or i.e. compatibility issue after compatibility issue, and I just want to slam my head.
See, maybe the AMD gods are just smiling down on me, because man, I have not had any of the. I must be the proper. Neophyte of the AMD gods, because I haven't had any of the
Did you
Windows.
do a blood sacrifice?
I must have, man. My, I had my old AMD bulldozer. I slit my palm, dripped a couple of drops on it, lit it on fire, you know, and I guess that my sacrifice was accepted because, yeah, Windows updates, I didn't have any problems that people were having with Windows updates. I haven't had any
Oh,
problems
and
with the
JC
driver
Gaming,
updates.
if you get Halo on PC, it'll be crossplay with the Xbox app, which is
Oh,
gonna
that'll
be
be
nice.
cool, yeah.
And they're bringing out a new version of Halo Master Chief Collection for the Xbox One platform for the X, and it'll be enhanced, and it'll also be talking with all the other stuff too, which is cool on the 3rd. So I'm excited for that.
Oh, motherfucker.
What's the next thing you guys want to talk about?
What else is there? We shit on Stadia for a little bit. Oh.
Oh.
Let's talk
It's
about
magic. Sorry.
Let's talk about Intel's uber mistakes as of recently, and caused the tech god himself, Linus.
Oh, man, yeah.
Get the fuck out, bruh. I have seen that man angry, but this guy went fucking Hulk rage angry, dog.
Well, he's an Intel fanboy. Like, what else are we talking about here? Like,
what are you talking about? He was shitting on Intel, bro.
I know he was coming. I kind of find it funny that, you know, he's Mr. Intel fanboy. He does mostly Intel shit, and then you see him turn all Hulk, and I'm just like, well, weren't you just preaching like Intel to everybody, and then now it's AMD's better and fuck Intel?
Well, it's not really saying fuck Intel. He just got. It's just a shitty decision of what they made. I mean, it was kind of a chicken shit move, right? Like, Intel knew their shit was gonna be fucking blasted, so they tried to alleviate that as much as possible. To me, I agree with them on that. Like, it's a shit move. Like, they've never done that before. Now all of a sudden they're doing it because they know their shit is weak. Shit is weak.
Well, AMD was doing that back in the day too, but you know, people just threw an eye at it and then blind eye towards it, and it was perfectly okay.
When did AMD do this? I want to know, because I don't remember.
Bulldozer?
They did do that. They didn't pull the same move on Bulldozer.
Bulldozer, as far as I know,
Bulldozer was the first to be announced on YouTube over their predecessor, over the Intel side. They came out swinging first. They didn't put a block on Intel and told them, "No, you cannot do this."
Well, we
know your shit's gonna break us. We know it's gonna hurt. Like, no.
Well, now his line is gonna do more AMD reviews because of it.
I don't know. Like I said, I float with both platforms. I don't care. Whatever I can get for a good price, I'll do it. So
that's true.
I just like that we're finally getting, because, man, the hate that Piledriver and Bulldozer got, and, you know, fair enough, like, you know, not like it's not without warrant, but Jesus, man, like, everybody was hating on Bulldozer and Piledriver, and it's like,
I was still using a Phenom chip when all that shit was happening.
Right? I was building I was building a Tricore at the time.
Dude, the Tricore, Athlon, and the fucking Phenom went on for a while. Like, all of us were like trying to compete on who can trip their breaker. I had a couple of friends that were all trying to top each other's overclocks, you know, on these shitty power supplies back then. Trying
you know, when an Intel chip would come out with the similar issues, nobody was hating on Intel like that. Nobody was saying the same shit that they were saying about Bulldozer and Piledriver.
What did Intel do just recently that was that bad? Like, inform me a little bit here.
Oh, I'm not talking about recently. I'm talking about, you know, this was.
Well, your whole Linus
this is all way back in the day.
I was watching recent Linus stuff. I didn't see what you're talking about. You may want to inform me.
You probably didn't understand what was going on then, because what they did was, what is it when they put a block on another company? What's that called?
No. What happened was Intel knew that the Threadripper was coming out around AMD had already announced the official launch of
that whole
Threadripper.
situation. Okay, thank
So
you.
Intel
If you said Threadripper,
specifically
thanks.
put the lift on the embargo for reviews for the day before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They
Okay,
put
now
an
I know what you're
embargo.
talking about.
Yeah.
Thank you for clearing that for me.
Yeah, the embargo. Yeah.
I didn't know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
So that all of the reviews for the new Intel chip would come out without any comparisons to Threadripper, because the Threadripper launch was the
now
next
I know
day.
what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Okay,
Yeah,
that is shitty. Okay, me saying about Bulldozer. I was talking about Bulldozer and the fact that it wasn't everything that it was made out to be.
Right.
Maybe.
Which
Well,
that's what I was saying.
Kinda. That's the thing. It's like, I don't know, man. It's, this always happens with new architecture. It's like sometimes things don't work out quite the way you expect. And, I'd have to go back and look at some of the claims made by AMD, because I don't think the things that a lot of like tech YouTubers and review sites and shit like that were saying was that AMD was making all these big ass claims, and that Bulldozer and Piledriver were not living up to those claims. But the thing is, I don't remember AMD making claims to the extent that people were saying they were.
No, I was gonna say, wasn't most of those claims not AMD, but it was mainly conjecture from the community?
I think so. That was the thing.
Because I don't remember AMD. I don't remember Sue. I mean, Sue always said that like Piledriver and Bulldozer could be fitted into mobile devices, and that was its major thing.
If we're talking about comparisons, like that too, wouldn't it be, didn't Nvidia do the same kind of thing with AMD GPUs a few months ago when they were releasing the 5700? In a way where they were blocked, where they didn't show everything, and they tried to make out Nvidia cards to be make AMD cards look really bad in benchmarks, if I remember it right. Then
Nvidia probably did do that, but I don't know if they did or not.
I can't remember specifics about this instance, but I mean, it's even worse than that, because I mean, I still remember several times when Nvidia was caught cheating on benchmarks and shit.
And then they did that with the Vega 7, if I remember it too. Nvidia did, trying to say the Vega 7 was really, really slow. In comparison, it wasn't. It was like up with the big boy cards.
Yeah,
and that's why they released the Super line. At one point, that's why the Super line became a thing. Because they were afraid of the Vega 7. The Vega 7 competes with the 1080 and 1080 Ti. Literally, it trades blows, which is the sad part of that.
Yeah.
And you know what, what really makes me sad about that is the Vega 7's a hell of a card. I wish they would have stuck with it.
Yeah, unfortunately, the release of the
it's $399 right now. If anybody wants one.
$399. It's a hell of a deal.
And the
60 gigs.
And the 5700 XT is less than 300 right now, right?
Yeah.
It's a good time to buy a graphics card right now.
Yep.
Bro, I hope these sales are around when my tax returns get here, because I'm definitely gonna be redoing my GPU soon.
Well, Brimstone's getting a nice computer here soon.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You're getting some major upgrades, some overhauls.
Yes,
I'd love to have the money for a major upgrade or overhaul. Fortunately, I think the only thing I'm going to be able to get soon is a new AIO and some new fans. That's going to be my upgrade.
I think Christmas time, or maybe a little after, I'll probably invest in something that'll be stable, or I'll just say screw it, keep my motherboard and go with like a 3700 X.
I want a new 3000 series CPU too.
I do too. Yeah.
Like a
I would
3700
love
X,
one of those.
8 cores, what is it, 16 threads, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. And it works on my X3. That's the one thing I like about AMD. At least they're not playing the trickery of, oh, here's a new chipset. You need to buy a whole new motherboard.
Yeah, for the exact same chips.
Yep.
Same exact architecture, same exact everything.
Really, the only thing I'm losing is PCI 4.0, but they blocked that already with the last BIOS update. They said they gave the reason why. Something to do.
Well, yeah, 370 just can't handle it.
Yeah, something to do with the chips on it. It'll just fry out the chips because
Yeah,
speed.
it's not technically a north bridge anymore, but it's basically a north bridge. And yeah, they just like X470 could barely handle, and it's not even real PCI Express 4 because it can't handle the complete speeds of 4.
Did you
But
hear about that? PCI 4.0 is out the door as we just got it, and it's out the door, and 5.0 is on
yeah, 5.0 is
in
already
the
on the
works.
way. Yeah.
And DDR5 is coming. I'm like, are we really ready for it?
Dude, DDR4 is not even that old, bro.
Like, are we
Like,
really ready for
Jesus.
like paradigm shift to like new RAM and a new PCI lanes? Like, are we really ready for it? I know storage market right now is doing very well. Seagate's already and Western Digital's already talking about releasing 24 terabytes and replacing 8 terabyte drives with those
Jesus.
Ooh.
because they want to compete with the SSD market, because they said the SSD market has been doing very well and hard drive sales have gone
Well,
down.
yeah, when the biggest consumer drives you can get for a reasonable price are 4 terabytes, and you can get a 2 terabyte M.2 SSD. You
What's
know,
up,
like,
Levon?
what's up, Levon? Or Lavon, excuse me. You know, it's like why buy a 4 terabyte platter drive when you can get a 2 terabyte M.2? So,
Right.
you know, the only advantage platter drives have over SSDs is storage capacity. So you better, you know, step up your game.
Bruh.
Bruh.
Silicon power. That's all I gotta say. Silicon power. SP Elite, dog.
Well, right now, Intel's got a huge deal going on a 1 terabyte or a 2 terabyte drive for $86. A P600. That's a steal right now.
Bruh, you know, we've gone through this before. All right, we've gone through this whole paradigm shift, fast shit before, but not with RAM and not with GDDR. Slightly worried because if I'm going to start investing into another system, and let's say I go and build a full AMD rig like I want. Let's just say I go full AMD, say fuck it, pull the trigger on it. What happens after that? $1,000+ is out the door, and then they're like, DDR6 is next week, guys. I'm like, fuck.
Well, speaking of some good news, we're getting new AMD cards starting.
I am happy about that.
In 2020 RDA2. But here's my disappointment with that. I'm a little
They still need to
disappointed.
fix this shit that's out right now.
No, I'm a little disappointed that they should just hold off on it and just release RDA1 cards with HBM2. They don't need to bring an RDA2 out right now. I just believe that they need to bring higher end cards to the market with RDNA1 and then, you know, show us somewhat of an RDA2 coming out in like 2021. They don't really need to release it, but I get why they're doing it.
Well, it could be like, so I'm not sure. I haven't really done a deep dive into the 5700s and shit, but it could be because like with Vega, you had to do HBM. That was the only way they could get the performance they wanted, because Vegas are severely bottlenecked by memory bandwidth.
The reason they're releasing the RDA2 with HBM2 and GDR6 going forward is for ray tracing. For
Sure, but it, like I said, it depends on the architecture, because I don't know if the 5700s are gimped by memory bandwidth as much as Vega is. I don't think they are. So it could be that the 5700, or like, you know, and its successors, you know, like say the 5800 or whatever, what else would come out. It could be that like going to HBM2 would not be as much of a benefit, whereas with the RDNA2 architecture, it could I'm pretty sure the RDNA2 architecture is way more like Vega, where its main bottleneck is memory speed. In which case, like, you know, it's a must do, because, you know.
Well, for me, I'm gonna be grateful to see AMD like finally get into the high-end market space instead of sticking in the mid-range space. I know they're kings of it, I get it, but I want to see them like really kind of go toe to toe with the supercards finally.
I want to see them progress too. I'm tired of being in the mid-range all the time.
Well, that's why I'm happy to see Intel get into this space, because it'll force Nvidia to stop having this big monster hold in the market like that. I'm really getting tired of Nvidia having that whole hold, and they can charge whatever they want for whatever they have.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Bro,
Jesus,
like the last
man.
time they did anything that was truly high end, and it was you know, affordable, was the R9 270X, because that card was outperforming 4 gigabyte card classes above them on the Nvidia side.
The 7990, remember that card?
And the 7990 was
kicking the shit out of me.
surpassing the Nvidia shit, top end shit, and Nvidia was still charging this arm and a leg of $800 for their shit. So I mean, AMD needs to bring that kind of shit back. Like, they need to stop relying on the same fucking thing. They need to start like, hey, you know what? We did this before. Let's do it again, and start blowing Nvidia out of the water and making Nvidia fucking bring their A game again.
I just like to see Nvidia be evenly priced with everything and make it affordable for people, instead of like, we're the Rolls Royce of fucking graphics cards, and you're gonna pay a premium. We know you're gonna buy it because we're the only place in fucking town. And that's the shitty part. Where AMD's the kings right now is that mid-range space. That's like 5700 is so tempting at the moment.
Or even a Vegas 64.
590 is just so compelling at the price that, you know.
Oh, yeah.
It's sitting at.
Outclasses everything in this price range, as far as I know.
Like, what does Nvidia have in that market? What, the 1660 Ti?
1660 Ti, yeah.
Or the Super, that's not even anything better than the 6060 Ti. The 6060 Ti still kills it. I didn't even know why they had to release a Super anyway. It just made no sense.
Yeah, that was some funny shit.
They did that as a knee-jerk reaction to AMD, because AMD could just go, oh, look, our 5700 that, you know, is sitting there at like 400. We could drop it down another $100. There you go. There's your answer.
Reload.
Or better at the Vega 56 and 64, you can get for a hella good price right now on the 7 too. I just like how AMD just drops their prices at certain times, and you can just get a good deal. And they offer it with games, which is cool.
Yep.
Boy.
What is this? Judge post Joker memes.
Oh, yeah. So, I didn't go through the entire article, but a judge had to rule that posting Joker memes was not a good enough reason for red flag laws to come into effect and take somebody's guns away, which, man, not like people didn't say this is exactly what was going to happen. As soon as politicians started talking about red flag gun laws, everybody started saying, dude, this is all this shit is going to be used for is the same bitches on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, wherever, who report you for, you know, saying the N-word or you know, posting some silly meme, are going to be the ones abusing red flag laws. And sure enough, somebody tries to take somebody's guns away because they posted a Joker meme.
Yeah.
And thank God the judge ruled against it. But what if he hadn't? And what about the next time? And oh God.
Censorship, you like there it is at its finest. It's all fucked up.
And that's beyond censorship. I mean, it's bad enough to censor somebody. Take away their the right to defend themselves and their family because they post a goddamn meme. Like,
dude, it's gotten worse. So in the past week, an old guy, he was in his 60s, bro. Like, they said that he came up as a danger to owning a gun. The guy hasn't done anything, like, at all. He's owned this gun for years, right? And because he came up as a red flag, the cops were told that they had to go and take his gun away.
JC, the answer to your question, yes, the GPU prices have stabilized.
Yeah, they've been back to normal for quite a while now.
Yeah, you could buy a pretty good deal with some games. Like right now, they have a 2070 right now where you could buy Modern Warfare for. It comes with Modern Warfare for a really good price. That was the
Yeah.
one me and Brimstone were talking about earlier before we started the show.
But anyways, so the guy was brought up on a danger list for owning a gun, and the cop came to his house. He talked to the guy. The guy put his gun down, right, because he wasn't sure what the fuck was going on. And the cop said, "Well, we come here to confiscate your gun. You came up on our danger list." And he asked why. The cop didn't really give him a reason, so the guy picked up his gun, and well, you know, I mean, I'm just gonna say this: you're stupid if you point a gun at a cop and you pull the trigger, right?
Yeah.
He didn't hit the cop, but the cop ended up shooting him over this. The neighbors, everybody in the community were like, "Why did this guy have to die?" They explained to him, so everybody was a little understanding. But the main question is what is considered danger to owning a gun? Not trying to get political, just stuff like this is stupid, and it needs to be more thoroughly talked about and reconstructed, and things need to be figured out, because it's not just about rights. It's about this being able to happen to you. I mean, what happens if you're to reach over and, like, you know, you're trying to grab something, it's not a gun, right?
Well,
this is crazy, bro.
You gotta evaluate the cops. That's a cop by cop situation. You gotta
Yeah,
evaluate
exactly.
the cops.
Well, not just that. I mean, you gotta evaluate these. These laws never should have been enacted in the first place.
Well, speaking of it, I was racially profiled at one point by cops by mistake. You know the way I dress, and it comes down to these cops need to be evaluated. Like, who are you putting in these places, in these positions? And are they mentally sane? You know what I mean? Are they mentally all there? Because some of them go in with an agenda.
Oh yeah.
And we need to evaluate within our communities these cops, because not all of them are bad. And I'm not saying I'm against cops. I'm all for having cops, but I'm not all for a lot of them abusing their power. And just because you go pull out, like, if they're like, I've seen this all over the place where somebody's pulling out their ID to give it to the cop, to be a right Samaritan, and they think it's a gun and they're going to shoot you.
Yeah,
a lot of
that
people,
happened. That actually happened.
A lot of people are living in fear with that. You shouldn't be, nowadays people are afraid of cops. Should I protect myself because a dirty cop is going to shoot me? It shouldn't be that way. When I was a kid, it was never like that. We respect the cops and whatnot. Nowadays, you have to question everything about a cop. What is his intention? What is he going to do? Is he going to use his body cam, turn it off, and you're not going to get protected by it? Do you need to have your camera phone out anymore? It's really getting to that point, and it's like, it's annoying. A routine traffic stop, for instance, will that cop, do something that, that'll jeopardize you as a human being? Now you gotta start thinking of those things, because in all these communities, even with the guns, everybody's at edge with guns, and I think that's a case by case basis. We should not be going in and terminating guns because one bad egg decides to do something erratic with a gun. I think we just need to evaluate and re-look at things. You know what I mean?
I agree.
It shouldn't be like one bad egg ruins everything. It's kind of like
Well, that's the whole thing. You don't punish people who follow the law because some people don't follow the law. Like, that's just day one shit.
right. And it shouldn't get to that point. You shouldn't have to look at, you shouldn't have to look at an official or a cop and start questioning everything. They should have the best interest within you. Back in the day, it was like that. Cops were your friends. They went to the DARE programs. They were the ones, protecting you. Now you just look at them and it's like, you're afraid. Like, are they going to pull out their gun and shoot you by mistake? Because they think you're, the way you dress or the way you look, are they going to shoot you down for who you are? You know what I mean? You could be going to a 7-Eleven wearing a, basketball shorts and a shirt, and you're just going to buy a case of beer, and a cop can look at you indifferent and think you're some type of guy that they've been trying to go after. and then you can pull out your ID and they think it's a gun, they can shoot you.
And that's happened a number of times, bro. It's happened so much in the last 5 years, in fact. Cop violence have increased dramatically, dude. Like,
Even though violence overall and crime overall has been decreasing.
exactly.
Well, it's like me going to a post office with a package. I got, taken as a hoodlum instead of, a guy trying to do the right thing. I was trying to, exercise and, I didn't want to waste gas in my car just to go down the street. I can walk to it. And instead, I had 5 cops coming at me, for no apparent reason. Guns drawn.
And it's getting bad too, because I've seen there was a few posts on Facebook and a few other places where they were showing the training materials being shown to new cops, and those training videos were literally portraying life as a cop as we're the good guys. Every citizen you encounter is a potential bad guy. They're the enemy. Any one of them could kill you at any moment. And it's just, it's like, what are you saying? Like, these are the people you're supposed to be protecting and serving. Like, how are you portraying them as the enemy?
What happens is the cops have become greedy. Like, we've, the government and some people have made them out to be bigger than they are, so they're using their power to do more than they need to.
But what's a shame though is there's good cops having to pay for the bad cops poor decisions, dude.
Yep.
Like I have a lot of friends in the law enforcement in my area. They're really good people. I've worked with them side by side in my old jobs, and they fear that they're gonna be the next cop on fucking Facebook news articles, dude. Like I got a few friends that are looking at leaving being a police officer when it was their dream to begin with, bro. Like, that's some sad shit.
And some of them are afraid of, somebody, good cops. I talked to a lot of them. They're afraid of somebody pulling out a gun and shooting them, cold blood.
Yep.
They live in the back of their mind, like, I didn't sign up for this. I signed up to protect you guys, not the opposite of that. And I think the cops have been becoming corrupted for a long time now. A lot of cops think they're, big cheese and they can go around and, brutality people. And it doesn't work that way. It never has. Cops used to be our friends. We used to, a lot of them, were in our local communities. We would mingle. And they were good people. Now you start questioning everything. You turn around, you start questioning everything.
Bro, bicycle cops used to have lunch with us kids when we would skate, down that boulevard. They'd stop us. Like, hey man, you hungry? Like, yeah, dude. Want some elotes or something? Like, hell yeah, thanks, bro. Like, it used to be that way. Now it's like you approach a cop and the first thing they're gonna do, like, what do you want? Like, damn dog, like what it's like that now?
I just wanted to come say hi and say thank you for your service. Thanks for protecting us, and they're like giving you attitude, like, what the hell? Get out of my face.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Like, if you don't want any trouble. Like, I've had that happen already. I'm like, bro, like, I know your boss. Shut the fuck up.
Well, back in the day, they used to go to your school and bring awareness, about, certain things. It didn't help.
Yeah.
It didn't help a lot of us, but, I did appreciate the cops looking out for us, back then. But now it's more of, I think it's a fear on two sides now. Mm-hmm. And cops just being brutality nowadays.
Yeah, JC says, not to mention they have some imaginary quotas they had to fill, so they pull people over to ticket them. And this is one of the big problems, right? You'll hear a cop complain, like, oh, every traffic stop could be my last. And it's like, okay, then why do you go out of your way to pull people over for stupid shit?
Okay, but so here's the thing about that so-called imaginary, it's not imaginary.
Oh no, yeah, the quotas, yeah, no.
Those are very real.
Yeah, well, it depends on the area, right? Some places have it, some places don't. Most places it's supposed to be illegal, but they have them anyway. But yeah, it's like you fear every encounter because it could be your last, but then yet you not only participate in the system that perpetuates this, but I don't hear any cops or like the unions forum or anything like that going around saying, hey, why don't we get rid of these victimless crime laws, because all it does is initiate conflicts with people who are otherwise being peaceful, when any one of those stops could be your last. Like, if that's the way you see it, if you see every encounter as the potential encounter that ends your life, then I would want to limit my encounters to only the ones that really mean something.
Well, if you're gonna talk about cops, it's kind of the same way how the military thing goes too, in a lot of ways too.
It's always the upper command, dude. Like the police chiefs out here. After the one guy that helped me out retired, there have been 3 police chiefs that have been kicked out of office and jailed and fined because of corruption. I'm telling you, dude, like a lot of it, yes, there is a quota, but it's not necessarily done by the state or the city. It's by those that are command. And police chiefs are guilty of that. Also,
to further the point, a lot of military guys are not joining the military because of all the shady shit that goes on in the military as well. It goes higher up than that too.
Yep.
A lot of them don't want to go to war because they don't want to come back messed up in the head. A lot of them. And a lot of cops, and I'll say this, a lot of cops, they do get messed up in the head too.
Oh, yeah.
And, there's a lot of things that I give cops credit, like homicides and things like that. But for routine stuff now in our communities, it's kind of getting out of hand a lot. And I just think, they should be evaluated, and there should be better procedures in place on all sides of protection in the states.
Dude, I feel sorry for beat cops, dude, when they have to work their beats. Like, fuck, dude, that is dangerous as fuck.
Right?
A beat cop never knows if he's gonna make it home that night, dude, because they have to work the ghetto. Like, fuck.
Yeah. And you watch a lot of people watch those live PD shows on the I give them credit for what they have to do late night.
Yeah.
A lot of the chasing and a lot of the drugs and things that happen.
Yep.
Yeah, I just spoke about something. Oh yeah, we're gonna get demonetized. I'm kidding. China #1. Okay, we're definitely getting demonetized.
Oh yeah, the China shit. You guys want to, right? Like something happened with China or whatever. Didn't it happen recently? Pete and Blue. Well, no, Pete and Blue. You guys were talking about it, and you know what? That's probably a Blue thing. So never mind.
Was that what's up with this? Can we talk about the whole Baby Yoda situation with Disney?
He's adorable.
Taking memes down of this thing, taking down third-party shirts.
Fucking Disney, man. They are the copyright assholes of the world.
Yeah, and speaking of I'm sorry if I offend anybody, Disney Plus is a scam. I'm just saying that now is a scam. Mandalorian, their season is ending next year. Like, that's unheard of to me, because you can go watch a lot
I
of
thought you said it was. I thought you said.
Yeah, next
you
year.
said, oh yeah, that episode's not being posted till next year.
Yeah,
right?
the 2 final episodes are not being put out until either spring or summer of next year.
Have you been watching it?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
yeah, I refuse to.
I'm not paying for Disney. My mom wants it. I'm not. I turned around and told her, good luck to that. I'm not paying for it. I'm not getting a trial. Screw all that. I'll go online. Disney can lose a customer over that crap. I'll go find it somewhere. Disney, I'm totally against with their service. I do like their 3 package they have with Hulu and ESPN Plus, but it's not enough for me to go, oh, I want the service, because I could just buy those off to the side, for my viewer pleasure needs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think, they're holding shows back. Like, what other shows? They're bringing Lizzie McGuire show. They're bringing even Steven back from the grave, but they shouldn't bring that back from the grave.
Bro, they're bringing back everything that they've ever done.
They're bringing back the Mighty Ducks. They're bringing back the Mighty Ducks movie
everything.
As a show.
Dude, no, you don't understand. They're bringing back even the racist shit that they put up back in those years. Like everything. Like all the black and whites, the classics that we grew up on. Like everything.
It's like, you know, to me, Disney Plus is just one. Like, if you already own the Blu-rays and the DVDs,
I don't.
You
I
could
don't
just
own any of that shit. So I mean, that's why
I
I'm
got
not
that
really.
shit on
Well,
VHS.
if you own the main four, you know, movies, the big four of Disney stuff. If you own the Star Wars stuff, there's no point of having Disney Plus to begin with.
Fuck.
Well, see, I don't own any of it because I never went out and bought the Blu-rays. I never went out and DVDs because I figured that this was gonna happen. I was like, why the fuck am I gonna go out and waste money on this shit?
And you know,
If this is gonna happen, so.
And here's the other thing I don't like
so-
about Disney is the fact that if you want to go on Amazon Prime, right? You want to go and I don't know, watch the Mighty Ducks movies, right? You can't do that. You can't rent the movies. I think that's totally crap to me. Like, if you want to go out and buy the movie yourself in HD without buying the service, you can't even do that. You have to go buy their platform to watch their shit, and it's stupid. I think, you know, if you want to go buy it digitally for, what is it, $4, you know what I mean? You should be able to do that. Without having to have Disney Plus. If you only want to watch that one movie 1,000 times over, then you should be able to do that.
Right. Yeah.
And another thing is Netflix and Amazon Prime, they give you everything. They give you the whole season when they launch the season. I just don't understand why Disney's going that way. And like, what happens if you're really into the show, right? And your subscription ends and you can't afford it? You know, it's kind of lame. I just think Disney's a scam for what they are. And I think they were marketing on people. And that's not even including they were hacked right off the rip. They were hacked right off the rip when they launched the servers. Everybody's information got compromised. And Disney's still apologizing for that.
I mean, they could apologize by giving me a free year of Disney.
Yeah, right? They should.
me a
Nintendo
free-
is not even
give me
bad
a
as
free-
Disney and with copyrights.
No, they've actually. Well, that's because they just recently started coming around, which is good. I mean, I know it took them decades almost, but hey, they're finally coming around to streamers and YouTube creators. So
Speaking
I'm
of
okay with them.
Nintendo, Outer Worlds is coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Outer Worlds and what was the other one? Alien Isolation. Both coming
Can
to
I
the
say
Switch.
this? Can I say this? The Switch Lite looks more tempting by the day because they just came out with a third-party an adapter to where you can actually dock the Switch Lite now. Finally, a third-party kit. Finally, so that
Yeah.
the Switch Lite is becoming more of an attractive offer because you can get that right now. What is it? $200, isn't it? 200.
Something like that.
And then you can get it on certain sales for like 175. It's pretty an attractive deal at that point. If you can get a third-party adapter for, I don't know, like a couple, like $20 or something like that from a third-party seller. But my
Yeah.
thing is Nintendo needs to stop. The thing with Nintendo, what I'm annoyed about is they keep releasing remastered shit. Give us some new shit. Stop remastering some of these old games and passing them by like they're new shit.
Well, that's because Nintendo, like when they remaster, the reason why people are taking them as their new is because they completely change the assets. They don't just color over it with a crayon. I'm like, here you guys go. No, they actually. If I will give Nintendo credit over every other company on the market, their remasters are true remasters. Like,
Well, their first party is, but if you go play like, well, when I had my Switch,
shit.
it was Saints Row the Third. That was not.
oh, that's not a
That's not-
remaster. No, I thought we were talking about like the last Zelda game that came out.
No. We're talking more like like Aliens
third-party shit?
Isolation. Yeah, like I'm getting tired of them releasing remasters third party wise, and it's garbage. It's like just give me new stuff. Just give me first party. I'm cool with that. Just give me tons of Nintendo first party. You know, leave it as that. You know, if you I just really think these companies could make first party games for Nintendo, like new ideas, and make the platform more interesting. But the platform's gonna get interesting when XCloud goes to Nintendo Switch, because then you can play XCloud on the go as you want.
That's pretty cool. I'm actually down for that. That's pretty cool.
And
I would
then
love to play my Switch in my bed while I'm playing like Fable or something. That's fucking dope, dude.
Well, I can't wait for the next Fable Playground Games. The people behind Forza is making that game, so I'm pretty excited for that. We're supposed to get an announcement for it sooner than later.
Yeah.
And I hope the people that are making Scalebound, I hope that since now Nintendo's getting behind it, I'm hoping that comes out and looks really good on the Switch.
So that's a thing now, huh?
Yeah, Platinum and Platinum Games went to Nintendo because they have an exclusive thing with the whole Bayonetta thing. So they're
Well, yeah,
working on it.
they're getting more money too.
Yeah, I didn't understand why Microsoft gave up on the project. That game looked really
Microsoft
good.
shit the bed. Microsoft wasn't getting it in a timely manner that they wanted, so they were being pricks about it. That's why the developer flipped out on them.
Let's see,
He's
they're
like,
also
"You fucking
releasing the
asshole."
remake of Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral? Is that Mineral Town? Am I saying it right? Sorry if I'm butchering that. Sorry, I'm looking at small text in my eyes. I'm sorry. I'm blind. I have an excuse. I'm blind.
I'm blind.
I'd have to go grab my glasses.
Getting old, man. It's tough.
Well, I'm partially blind as it is, so it doesn't help the cause when I see like black text on the screen. I'd have to blow it up so much just to see it properly.
Shit.
But that Outer Worlds, I'm kind of fascinated to see how it's going to run on the Switch, though.
Well, it'll probably be similar to Wolfenstein.
Because I know Doom is being it's being delayed, but at the same time, the Switch version, they have no ETA when that's coming out to the Switch at all.
Right.
Because they're afraid that it'll just hamper the Switch so much. This is where Nintendo should just turn around and say, hey, guys, we got you. We're just going to release another Switch with more powerful specs. Or unleash the power of the Switch, which is virtually a Tegra X1, and they can do that. Because on the Shield console, it's unlimited bandwidth. But I get why they dumbed it down for battery life. I get it.
Right. Yep.
But as far as I'm concerned about Disney, the memes, I don't understand why they're just doing that. Let people have their fun.
I mean, I understand why they're doing it, but it's a stupid reason.
And Baby Yoda was only shown for like a few minutes on a screen. Like literally like a couple minutes. They didn't like really show a lot of it. And so let people have their fun. Let the third-party shirts be out there.
Well, for one thing, memes are clearly fair use. Like,
right.
Nobody thinks that whoever posts a meme is Disney and that they're selling Disney products or anything like that. So that's first off the bat. Second off the bat, you're never going to stop this shit. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Like, not even... You won't even have a chance. I mean, you get one meme banned from Facebook or whatever, and people just make a second one immediately. Or another person posts it or whatever. And third off is, if anything, memes help your cause, whatever you want to call it. I mean,
it's free advertising.
It's free advertising. And fourth off, even if you think it's bad, like let's give it to Disney that they think it's bad press or whatever it is, right? And you want to get rid of the memes because you don't want that shit associated or whatever, right? Even if that was the case, even if you were somehow able to start make progress on getting rid of these memes, all you're going to do is make the situation worse, because the Streisand effect will ensure that anything you try to ban will be, I mean, just look at this now. Now, instead of just having a few memes on Facebook and Twitter and shit, now people are talking about the fact that Disney is going around trying to get memes banned.
And it makes people not want to buy their platform either.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck are you guys thinking? I mean, man, yeah, Disney, they are the absolute biggest dicks when it comes to copyright. And it's like...
Well, it's like AT&T for Warner Brothers Media. It's the same shit. They're trying to put everything through a paywall, make you pay for it. It's kind of the same way they're doing with Rick and Morty. After the season's over, the next season will be put on HBO Max app. Same with South Park. South Park is Comedy Central. I didn't even know this was owned by Warner Brothers Group. And,
Oh yeah.
And they want to take that and put that on the HBO Max app, and they want to put it under a paywall. All seasons going forward are going to be on HBO and the HBO Max app. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Our company's really going to this way. We're going to have like a 3-team race. We're also having the whole Nickelodeon Viacom coming together and partnering with Netflix and doing the same shit. All Nickelodeon stuff is going to be put on Netflix. And the only place you will get it is Netflix. But I kind of understand why, you know, Nickelodeon's doing what they're doing. They don't want to pay for an app, so they just go partner with somebody, one of the biggest streaming places out there, which is Netflix is kind of dying.
Yeah, man, that's a sad story right there.
Well, Netflix is up in their Hulu's up in their prices. Netflix is up in their prices.
Netflix was talking about adding ads too.
Yep.
Which, like, that was the whole thing about Netflix, is people were willing to pay to get ad-free TV, basically, but, you know, media.
And Brimstone, you have a story about your Hulu experience. You were wanting to share that.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna pause this. So Hulu has decided to pull off, and I know this is old news to a lot of people, but the fact that it even happens still bothers me, so I just felt like talking about it. Any 2015 model and below, Hulu is pulling their application from because their OSs on those LG TVs and Samsung and whatnot are not compatible with it somehow.
It's too old.
They're saying it's too old. Now, mind you, Netflix and everything else does not do this. Hulu, for some reason, is the only one. Disney promised that this wasn't going to happen because I guess they own Hulu or something like that, right? Or they're running in contingent with Hulu. They're like a partner or whatever.
Yeah, they're like partners technically, like they're high stakeholder.
Yeah. So Disney swears up and down that this isn't going to happen, and then when they were questioned about it, it was like a c'est la vie situation. Like, there's nothing we can do. Like, excuse me. If my TV isn't good enough to run that, then my MasterCard isn't good enough to pay. And I'm getting to that point. I liked Hulu, dude. I really liked Hulu. A lot of people hated it.
A lot of people like Hulu for their TV service.
Yeah, their TV service is good. Their fucking anime selection's awesome, dude. Like, I was keeping up with all my Gundam series based on Hulu because it's better than Amazon. It doesn't fractal or anything or artifact. It's a smooth service. Why the fuck did they do this? There's no explanation. I looked it up last night. I Googled it. I was looking all over the place.
I'll tell you. I'll give it to you. I'll tell you why. They want you to buy new hardware. That's why. They want
That's
you to
not
go
happening.
out. They want you to go out and spend that money. That's like when certain Android manufacturers and Apple decide to gimp phones on purpose, speed wise. They force you into buying the newest, latest tech on purpose when your phone is perfectly fine.
Bro, I'm gonna be, like I said, I'll be buying a stream box. I'm not buying another fucking TV. I'll buy a stream box, and if they fuck me on that, then I'm fucking done with Hulu.
We were talking about this earlier.
Completely done with them.
We were talking earlier. The Apple, if you get the Apple TV right now, you get 6 months of Apple TV Plus. And Apple really has really good shows right now going on. Like literally, like I've been watching The Morning Show, and that has Tina Fey's friend on it and Jennifer Aniston. Really good show. I've been watching the first episodes, and then they have the this warrior show that they got going on. Kind of like they're taking kind of the idea of what was it, Game of Thrones, and just turning it over on its head, and it's very violent. And I was really surprised Apple's going that way because they try to keep family orientated, but it's really good. Like a lot of the Apple Plus shows is really like kind of like impressed me because I got the trial just recently for it, and and it just works. And which is cool with the Apple TV, you get Siri and all that, and and you can plug a game controller in and have it as a little mini gaming box if you want to play your Apple stuff. And then if you want to go in comparison, Xiaomi has a I think it's called the Mimo box that you can get at Walmart for $60. That pretty much does everything too as well, and they even sell a controller off the side.
But they sell it at Walmart?
Yeah,
It's a Xiaomi box?
yeah. Or it's like an MI, whatever their logo is, MI or whatever it is.
And
on a
it,
box.
so
Linus
it's
did a-
actually good,
Linus-
though?
Yeah, Linus did a review of it. He just said basically it was kind of, it's a first gen product and it's kind of a little limited still on the amount of horsepower you get for it. But he said for the price, you can't beat that. For the price that it's coming in at, it's a small box and you can plug in Bluetooth control, or you can sync up Bluetooth controllers, and yeah, it's an Android TV box. It's really cool. I was even considering it.
But does it run stable, though?
Yes, it does. It runs very stable. From the reviews, it runs very stable.
Does it do 4K and the whole 9 yards or no?
I believe it does, but I may be stand corrected. It does.
I might go. I mean, I'm going to Walmart today, so I'm gonna check it out. I got my, so this should be good.
Let's see here. We're still missing. There is so many good Black Friday deals right now, guys. Like seriously, Black Friday deals all day long. Like
I'm gonna see if I can talk Val to let me get those Sennheisers that are on sale right now.
the
300.
iPad, dude. Like if you're into the iPad, $249. That is a steal for a 10.2 inch, and it comes with a pencil too. Like for somebody like Metro that really wants to get one of those right now, it's a good time to buy. Like, and how many gigs is that? That's a pretty good amount of gigs. You get about 60 gig. You get about 64 gigs on that. That's not bad.
Not bad.
For $249. Processors are going down dramatically. The series, get it while you can because they're selling out everywhere. The Xbox Elite Series 2 controller coming in at $169 to $145 right now.
God, that's a lot of money for a controller, though.
Wait, which controller?
The Series 2, the Elite Series 2.
For how much?
170.
170, and then there's in certain other places about 145.
Yeah, that's too much money for me, bro.
I know, right?
That kind of money.
Damn, dude, I didn't pay that for my keyboard.
Right? That's how I'm thinking about it. I didn't even pay that much for mine either.
And
I
a
paid
lot
like
of the
80 for mine.
Logitech stuff is on sale right now. A lot of their keyboards are really on sale. Like I got their, what is this? The G502 SE for $25 on sale. And that was marked down like 75%.
Yeah.
A lot of the Corsair stuff is being marked down at Best Buy hard. So it's a good time to buy if you're looking at a new keyboard, mouse, webcam, even some of the capture cards out there. If you're looking to get into streaming, is like dramatic. Like some of the AverMedia stuff has dropped down dramatically. Not by much, but it's still a great deal though. You can get a AverMedia Live Gamer Mini for like $80.
Can it run Crisis? Spelled that wrong,
Wait,
I think,
Live
by the
Gamer
way.
Mini?
What was that?
You said the Live Gamer Mini's on sale too?
Yeah, I've seen it for like $80 in certain places. Yeah,
That's a good deal.
from 112 down to $80.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And then the what is it? The HD60s. Literally, I've seen going for $100. Trying to compete with AverMedia for the price. Let's see here. Do you want to talk about that Half-Life VR?
Alex,
let's do
yeah. Man. Oh, God. It's like, cool on you guys. Like, a VR game, okay. A Half-Life game, okay. But, like, this is not the Half-Life game that everybody wanted.
I think it looks cool, but it's not enough for me to go buy a VR headset and because I had VR headsets before. I just think I like VR for what it has to offer, but I don't think, you know, for like 3 games, it's not worth the investment. I'll say that because I had all of them. I had the PSVR, the HTC Vive, and the Oculus, and I'll say the Oculus is the best. I did not like the HTC Vive at all. The HTC Vive. The screen door effect they have going on is just so horrible. It kind of makes you sick after a while.
Enemy tank spotted.
But yeah, Half-Life, I'm with you guys on that. I don't know why they released a VR version. Steam takes 10 steps forward and then they take 20 steps back.
Objective Charlie is no longer
Yeah, bro, it's fucking annoying, dude. Like, I just want to be able to have fun with my shit, and as soon as they like get us hyped for this new product that they're working on, there goes that carpet, boys. Whoop! Right from under your feet.
Here goes half of my meal being missed at the McDonald's drive-thru.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, like I said, good on them for doing it, I guess. And hopefully it's good. I don't know.
Steam release release Left 4 Dead 3 already.
Yeah, like what is it
Give
with
us what we
3,
really
guys?
want.
Yeah, like Half-Life 3, Left 4 Dead 3, like just get on this shit. I think I know what it is. I really do. I'm pretty sure that what they're afraid of is that there is no way for them to be able to live up to the hype that the games will generate, right? Because Half-Life 2 was such an amazing, like not only was Half-Life an amazing game, but then Half-Life 2 was an amazing improvement on Half-Life 1, and even in shooters in general, because they came out with a lot of stuff that was revolutionary at the time, and I could see that they could be afraid of no matter what they do, because shooter, the I don't want to say technology, that's not quite the right word, but the tech for shooters hasn't really improved very much since, like, the difference between Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2 was a huge difference compared to a lot of the differences that we're getting in shooters these days, and I think a lot of that is just due to stagnation.
What is Valve's headset called? Do we know?
The
Vive?
HTC Vive.
Not the HTC Vive. They're working with a Lenovo.
Oh, Index.
The Index. I think they're doing this to sell indexes to people. They're losing hand over fist. I don't think they're selling. They're not selling very many headsets. I looked into the Index and I'm not really a fan. Like it does not.
I want the Oculus Quest. That's what I want to do.
The Quest looks nice because you can go around and make your own play area as you play, which is cool.
Yep.
And I like the fact that it runs Android on it and you're not condemned.
Oh shit,
Oh. You guys still live?
we are.
Yeah.
Jesus, the fuck you guys been doing?
No, we're not live. This is overtime. I'm just kidding.
Oh, if this is overtime, alright, then I was gonna tell a story about how the sky fell down this morning.
What do you mean?
And the sky is
No.
falling down.
No, not really. Actually, I don't know where I was going.
Epstein didn't kill himself?
Oh,
No,
Jesus.
no. I have to slide that in more.
Okay.
I don't know. This is awkward. It just came in
That's
now.
that's what I said.
I mean,
But getting
kinda
back to,
slides-
oh sorry, Blue.
No, I was trying to make a slide. Never mind. Just what you're
But
saying.
getting back to
I have to slide it in more too, dude. I get it. Okay.
But speaking, still on our topic of VR headset, I just think they're trying to do this to sell more headsets. Then let me say this better. They're putting out there a game they know that will sell to the people that have VR headsets. To me, I think that's a little desperate of Valve. I think it's desperate of Valve to do it because they're losing. It obviously looks like they're losing hand over fist on their headset. And it's made by Lenovo. What do we know about Lenovo when they made their first headset, the mixed reality headset? It wasn't that great. And they're trying to do it again.
You're talking about the Half-Life VR game, right? The new Half-Life game.
Yeah.
I mean, I was looking at footage, but it just looks like how it's gonna be obviously gonna have teleport controls, right? Like every other VR game.
I'm telling you this now, it's going to be a bundled game when you buy the headset. Eventually down the line.
Probably.
I mean,
Like most of these games, like I have some experience. I've played like Skyrim VR, Fallout 4 VR. They're kind of experiences, but they're not anything that's like gonna blow you away. Like,
well, this is. I was getting into this the other day about VR, where with the technology as it currently is, and not like literally as it currently is, but I mean the entire setup of a headset type viewing screen and all that shit. We are never going to have what people think we are going to have with, like, people are expecting a Sword Art Online type game you know, or you know, Fallout or Call of Duty or whatever in VR, and it's going to be some amazing, you know, like
Well,
you're actually playing, like, and that's just not going to happen with the headset
Well-
type VR. It can't. Like, there
Well,
are
in
intractable
VR
problems with doing that kind of experience
well,
with the
I've
controls that they have.
Well, Gangster, I've owned all the VR headsets out there, you know, when they first came out. And the best experience I had was with the PlayStation VR, and that was with Farpoint. That felt immersive to me. I felt like I was in the experience of that.
What kind
I
of
felt
controls was it?
They used the PlayStation Move controllers.
No. I mean, like, what style? Like, was it teleport? Was it?
First person shooter. It was very much of a first person shooter, but
Yeah, but how did you move in it?
I had to how I moved in the I used the PlayStation Move controls.
No. Like yeah, literally the movement. How did you move your character around? Did you teleport around, or was it like a regular, you know, twin stick where one stick moves you and one stick looks around?
One like just like that, like a regular first person shooter.
And it didn't give you
Kinda
motion sickness?
No. The only thing I didn't like about that experience was the PlayStation VR is so watered down compared to the other two, where you could tell, like when you're in dark spaces in Farpoint, you could tell that you're just like, what is this experience that you're having? Some of the I was immersed, but sometimes you have to squint because it's so dark, so muddy and dark, to where like I just wish they would turn the brightness up like dramatically because it's like terrible.
With like VR games like that, like games like Super. Have you played Super Hot VR or no? Just asking real quick. If anyone's played it here other than me.
No.
only
I don't
other-
think anybody
the
else
only
has a
other-
VR headset other than you.
The only
Well-
other VR experience Blue I had was with two other VR experiences was with Skyrim and Arizona Sunshine.
I never heard of Arizona Sunshine, but Skyrim VR was like the Bethesda games VR. I kind of expected more, but it's kind of like what the technology is.
Well, but this is my whole point.
Oh, and
Like-
VR chat. That was the other one I
Sorry,
experienced.
one thing, Pete. Let me finish.
Yeah.
And I think VR right now, the games that it's best suited for are games like Super Hot and like Beat Saber.
Beat Saber. Yeah, this
and
is
some racing games.
this is what's going to happen with VR, right? Every good game in VR is going to be something like
A
Beat
rhythm
Saber, or well, no, not rhythm game, but it's going to be like Beat Saber in that it's going to be a neat little. I mean,
Niche?
it's gonna be like the Wii, where there's a whole bunch of cool little things you can do with it, but it's not gonna be the experience that people want. Because what people want is they want to be able to put on the headset and play Fallout 4, Call of Duty, you know, whatever, Skyrim, whatever game that they love, and have it be those games, but in VR, and that's just not going to happen because of the intractable problems with the controls.
And
like-
the other thing that I played a lot of was Rock Band VR, and that was pretty cool.
Like that would work because Rock Band you're not like moving very much. Like you're not
Sure.
like in like Skyrim. Like you're.
Well, that's the thing.
The downfall of the PlayStation VR is it is the camera, the way your play space is. That's the downfall. You're not as immersed as you should be. I didn't like the lighthouses with the other two, but if I had this, I would say the Oculus Rift was my favorite out of all of them.
I like my Vibe. I think the Vibe's my favorite one.
I
But,
tried the
yeah.
PlayStation VR. It was good, and I like the Oculus. I tried the
My
Vive, and the Vive was uncomfortable as shit for me. I don't know why.
Yeah, that was the other thing I was gonna say.
My problem with the PSVR is like I've played PSVR. My problem with PSVR is when it's, like you might disagree, but it's the resolution. Like it looks so like. Because VR you need like a high frame rate, like 120. So the game ended up looking really bad. Like Skyrim VR looks really bad in PS, like the PlayStation 4.
I actually I agree with you with that. Like playing Farpoint and playing what was the other one that the one that's made by Quantum Dreams, that roller coaster game that they did.
Rush of Blood.
Yeah, that. Yeah, it just looked when they get to dark scenes in any of those games, you could tell where the resolution is at. You could tell like where they compromised real quick with those.
And even
with
with
that
my
headset.
Vive, when I'm playing like when I was playing Fallout 4 VR, I can tell when the resolution just drops in certain areas. Like I can literally see it.
The best experience I had with the VR headset, and I know this is not a game thing, it was YouTube 360. That's where it was fun. Like you could stand at a concert and actually look around, you know, and be, you know, be immersed like that. Like you're not really there, but you're there. That was the cool part. Or like in an NBA game, you're like standing in the sidelines. That was the cool part of VR, I thought. The most of it.
I mean, that's what VR will probably be used for mainly right now, because technology.
And
is
then,
It's going to have to be. Like I said, the control problems are intractable with the VR headsets. They're like the Ready Player One. I don't know if this was intentional or not, but Ready Player One is the perfect example of why there will never be a true immersive experience for anything like an action game or a shooter or, you know, whatever. Like, you know, it was hilarious watching these people. You know, they've got their headsets and their suits on, and they're running around their houses, tripping over furniture, running into walls, shit like that. And it's like, I don't see a way that you could solve the problem of movement, because even with like, even in the solution in Ready Player One, where they've got the thing where they're suspended and they're like mimicking the motions, that's still the two options are you stay still and your character moves, which give you motion sickness, or you move when your character moves, in which case you run into the space issue. Because like even if you get the solution to like that Ready Player One has, where you're suspended from the, you know, ceiling basically, and you're just mimicking the movements, your headset, you know, what you're watching is going to be moving, and you physically are going to be staying still, which is going to fuck with your inner ear like nobody's business. It's not going to work out the people.
But it depends on case by case basis. I mean,
Well, I'm talking in general, because that like this is the whole reason you can't have regular shooter controls in VR, is because too many people get motion sickness because they're sitting still while the like your mind thinks you're moving, because as a you know, your whole field of vision is moving like you are actually walking around, but you physically are sitting still.
There was actually one game actually out there that you moved around. It was a BR game, but it was really bad. I think Blue, you know what this game is.
I might have heard it, but I can't remember.
It was like a battle royale game that they had for it, where you can move around your play space without standing still, and you can actually move your guns, and you can pretend like you're actually shooting off a gun at somebody, like give the motion like you're doing it. Yeah, there's games. There's games like that. There's some sports games that are like that, where you can move around and not sit down, and move around. But the problem is the play space.
Well, that's the thing. Even if you do like one where you move around, like fair enough, except yeah, who has space? Like they don't even work outside as of this moment because of the problems with cameras and sensors and stuff. But nobody has this. Like the only way to solve that problem is to set up like a warehouse or something like that that's the same size as the map you're playing on, so that you have complete freedom of movement to walk from, you know, one edge of the map to the other. Because otherwise,
did they change that, Brimstone, with the Oculus Quest? Didn't they change that where you could play anywhere you want in any play space? Didn't they change that kind of idea?
Only inside though, because they use infrared sensors to monitor.
Gotcha.
Like
Okay.
So the way they got it set up as of now, the best solution they've found so far is that there's sensors all around the headset. Those sensors map distances in the XY space, and then, you know, you walk forward 10 feet, it measures that you're now 10 feet closer to the wall that's in front of you, and so your character moves 10 feet forward. And
Arrow
so
Slayer says hello, Blue.
Who is that? Sorry, yeah, hello.
And so again, one, you're limited in how much space you have in whatever room you're playing in, which is a huge problem. But two, the way those sensors work, they all work on like infrared and shit like that, and cameras. You can't do that outside because the interference from like sunlight is way too much. Like they haven't been able to sort out a way to get that. And not only that,
it'll get there though.
I don't see. Again, I don't see the. It's
where,
still
where VR kind of succeeds is kind of in 3D modeling. Really, where you will see it kind of take off is in 3D modeling. Me and Brimstone been talking about that.
Like
With the
artist
3D
stuff.
Yeah, artist stuff with the 3D modeling. Is that the conversation we were having before, Brimstone? A couple weeks ago about 3D modeling on VR headsets?
Yeah, what about it?
That's where VR is gonna kind of be its high point is in modeling and what you can do
Yeah,
in modeling.
a lot of creators, like especially like 3D artists, landscape artists for video game developing, they've been using VR headsets for a little bit now, and that's been where it's been most useful.
Architects have been using it as well, by the way.
Architects have been using it, yeah.
And it's because my
and like
mom's
there's
friend's an
lots.
architect, and she uses a lot for that type of stuff.
Yeah, JC, that's exactly it. You'd have to play in an empty warehouse to make it work, and that's the intractable problem I see. It's the same. It's the same thing. Like, okay, way back in the 90s, I was there, 3,000 years ago. Yeah, way back in the early 90s.
Are you calling yourself a caveman?
I am.
Like me?
Way back when there was a company that had come out with this revolutionary way. They thought it was going to replace the mouse for shooters, and it was basically a camera on top of your monitor or wherever you put it that tracked head movement. And so if you looked left, your screen would look left just like if you had moved the mouse. But the problem is, okay, you turn left like, so much, but now you got to turn left again. Well, now you're no longer looking at the screen. Right?
That was kind of like the Kinect, yeah.
Exactly, right? Your move, it's not like a mouse where you can lift the mouse. This is the whole reason why the mouse works, is because you can lift the mouse up and reset its position without actually moving it in the game space. And this is the problem I see with VR, is that if you're sitting down, your movement is limited just like that device. So there's no way to do, without actual like controller controls, there's no way to do a shooter with motion controls. And if you're standing up and moving around, then your problem is the space issue. And both of those problems are intractable as far as I can see. There's no way to solve, like, the solution for one of them is the other one, but then that one has the other problem. You see what I'm saying? Like, either way you do it, there's an intractable problem on both for both solutions to how would you make a first-person shooter, or or some like Skyrim type exploration game in VR space. Yeah, and so
it wouldn't work. Period.
And so like that, and that's, people keep saying like, oh, VR is going to be amazing, but when they say VR is going to be amazing, they keep referencing and talking about stuff like, oh yeah, we could play Skyrim in VR, and it's like, no, bro, it's not going to be Skyrim in VR.
Where I'm saying VR is amazing, gangster, is the fact that like sporting events.
Oh no,
like
yeah, no. Not that there aren't amazing applications for VR. Like Beat Saber is a great example. That is
best rhythm game ever.
That's the perfect example of a wonderful experience that you can only really do in VR. Fair enough. But that's not what most people want. Like, that's not what, like I said, when everybody I've heard, everybody, not, you guys, not, but, most of the gamers that I hear, when they say, oh my god, VR is going to be amazing, they then go on to describe something like Skyrim or Fallout or Call of Duty or something like that in VR. And it's just like, yeah, that's never going to happen with the headset type thing. The only way that's going to be doable is in something like Sword Art Online, where it's a full dive and you don't actually have to move. You know, you don't move.
Your conscience is in there, or whatever it is.
And it's not because the other thing then you run into is the motion sickness, which way too many people have a problem with motion sickness when they aren't moving, but the camera is, or you know the character is. So I really think like Blue, you posted that article or whatever it was where who was it? Broderick. What was the guy's name? It's in. I can't go to it right now because I'm playing, but it's in the Blue. You're in Discord. You posted it. Yeah.
What relation? What it was?
So I can't. Something Broderick says that customers aren't asking for
VR. No, that's Phil Spencer, and that's Phil Spencer. They're asking, is Xbox gonna have a VR? And that's Phil Spencer saying Xbox gamers aren't asking for VR.
Yeah, and he's not wrong when he says that. I mean, I would even expand it to gamers aren't asking for VR.
They're not.
Because that's the thing. Yeah, it's the things that people are asking for in VR aren't the things that are possible with VR as it stands.
VR is going to stay a niche market as it is right now.
That's the thing. Like VR probably, I don't know if it will succeed, but it may very well. But it's not going to be like what people think. It's going to be a niche thing like Wii, where the games that come out for it are going to be very specifically tailored to the VR experience, like Beat Saber.
I think you're going to see it more on the creative side than you really are going to see it on the video game side.
Sure.
The creative side is where I think it's strong suit.
I can see more of rhythm games when it comes to games.
Well, yeah, rhythm games, like anything that was done on like the Wii, you could do all the same, like any of the exercise type things or tennis or anything like that. Anything where you don't have to move a whole lot. That, like tennis. You could easily make a tennis VR game. And as long as you've got, 5, 6, 7 feet side to side and a few feet forward and backwards, like that's enough you could extrapolate that into, your movement on a tennis court, and that would work perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And it's all gonna be games like that. Beat Saber and other niche experiences that you can that are tailored to the VR
experience
system. Yeah. And it'll be great for that, but the problem is that enough for the average gamer to want to buy it? And I don't think it is. It's certainly not with the prices that it's, with the prices and stuff that it's
still an incredible niche market, and it'll stay niche until like some deep dive system happens, but that ain't gonna be happening, at least I'd say not even the next decade. That's not gonna be happening. So
I mean, never say
VR will be a
never.
niche market. I could say never on a deep dive system.
You don't know, man.
We'll be alive, dude. We've been over this, but we'll be alive, bro. They've been working on that shit for the last 8 years. Well, actually, probably a little bit further than that.
You'll be alive when it happens.
We'll be alive and we'll experience it, bro. Don't worry about it.
I mean,
the whole bodysuit thing, that's already happening.
No.
Well, no, that's the thing. Even the bodysuit does not solve the problem. The bodysuit still has every problem that the VR headset has.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking like you plug.
We're talking about
plug yourself into like an actual system, and like you're in the system.
Yeah. Have you ever seen
Like
Sword Art Online?
Yeah,
Rev?
but that won't happen in my lifetime.
Oh,
That's not gonna happen.
Never say never, man. I mean,
or the technology will be perfected.
Elon Musk has already gotten.
Confirmed it.
He's already gotten a 4-wire, I think 4-wire electrode setup implanted into a monkey's brain. Directly.
Brimstone won't be alive because
he vapes. Yeah, Elon Musk has already gotten a several wire implant set up in a monkey's brain to directly communicate between a computer and an animal brain. So I mean, you never know, man. In 5 to 10 years.
What happens if it is like online, where like if you die in the game, you just die in real life or something like that?
Well, but that's.
Or you end up brain dead, whatever the case was.
Well, that's certainly a possibility with.
Hey, Blue,
that
they've
technology.
already figured out. They've already figured out how to map the human brain on a fucking mechanical hard drive, dog. The problem they're running into right now is that the brain it processes so much information that it taps out every single hard drive that they've ever. I mean, we're talking about petabytes of information that they put this on, and it keeps running into the same problem of circulation. So until they can improve that problem, like, we won't see it probably 20 years, but we'll be alive. Damn it.
I'll be alive.
I mean, I don't even know if it would take that long.
Mark this word in this podcast. I'm gonna be alive.
As long as I'm around for it.
I could see it even becoming a reality in 5 to 10 years if the not production, but what's development. If the development of what Elon is trying to do goes smoothly, if they don't run into any serious, well, you know, you never know, right? Because it's like you never know what the problems with something are going to be until you try to do it, and then you run into the problems, right? So I don't want to just say, oh yeah, it'll be no big deal, you know, they'll figure this, you know, obviously, because, you know, something could happen. You know, this is what happened with artificial intelligence in the 70s. Everybody thought within 5 to 10 years they were going to have AIs that you could talk to and you wouldn't know that they weren't human, that you could, you know,
Cortana from Halo.
Exactly, yeah. You could, you know, give them a problem that only a human could solve, and they could solve it. Like, everybody thought, oh, yeah, that's gonna, you know, 5, 10 years, no big deal. Well, it turns out that creating an artificial intelligence is way more complicated than we thought, and we didn't know what the problems were until we tried to do it, you know. So I don't want to just say, oh, yeah, 5 to 10 years, no big deal, right? Obviously, they could always run into, you know, an issue that's either way more difficult than they thought or that's intractable. But it's certainly possible that within 5 to 10 years they will have some kind of human or brain machine interface where you can plug a cable into your head, basically, and interface with your computer directly. And as soon as you've got that, I mean, that's Sword Art Online right there. I mean, that's full dive. You plug it in, and now it replaces your normal sensory inputs with the sensory inputs of whatever program you're running. It intercepts your body's, you know, the inputs that you are making for your body, and translates those in game, and bingo, you've got yourself a full dive, complete, you know, VR experience where, you know, you're just sitting there laying down on your bed, and in the game world you're slaying dragons in Skyrim or whatever. So
as long as I can leave my wife who's in VR, it's all that matters.
Well, that'll be like, if and when this happens, that will be one of the big problems, is convincing people to not do that and to, you know, exist in the real world.
Yeah, that'll probably kill the humanity. It's fine, whatever. I guess we die off.
I don't know. I can see it going both ways, right? I could see it being so addictive that everybody just, all they do is that all day. I could also see that while a cool distraction, I could see that people just, you know, it's not the real world, so they, you know, they
tap out.
Well, you know, they're not enticed by, they don't get addicted to that because it's not the real world. And ooh, nice shot. and you know they keep it restricted to, you know, just fun time like people usually, you know, use video games for now. You know, they don't spend their whole lives in VR because they think it's better than the real world. I don't know. I can see it going both ways. I mean, it's just like the whole, you know, if we create AI, will we end up in some sort of Terminator dystopian
Terminators.
future? Well, that's the again, I can see it going both ways. You know, the funny thing is people talk about AI and they talk about the horrors of, you know, what a future with AI could be like, and they always use the example of, say, Terminator or fuck, man, I can't remember what the other big one was. But anyway, you know, Terminator is always one of the biggest examples used. But it, you know, there's a lot of good movies and TV shows that get into like a future AI that doesn't end up Terminator-esque because, you know, like it happens all, like Her was a good example, or a decent example. There was a couple more movies like that where, you know, they create an AI-esque artificial person to serve as like a replacement girlfriend or whatever, and then the AI falls in love with the human, and the human falls in love with the AI, and you know, it always ends different. Some they live happily ever after, some other things happen, but like
Blade Runner.
Like
I've been thinking about this though. Like it's like, so say we create AI, right, and the artificial intelligence becomes conscious and cognizant of their own self-conscious, yeah, self-conscious, right? It could work out entirely like this, where as soon as the AI becomes self-conscious, like, you know, they have basically unlimited computing resources because they can always add more hardware and stuff like that to the to their infrastructure, right? So anything that they wanted to do as far as you know, their personal goals, interests, whatever, like that, they could devote, you know, 90-something% of their resources to. But it could very well end up that they could find that
Alright.
I could imagine where they would see that human beings would be the most fascinating things on the planet, and all they want to do is hang out with us and study us and, you know, talk to us and shit like that. I could easily see that being the case. You know what I mean?
Maybe. Or they can kill us all. That too.
They could. It could work out either way. You know, it's the same thing.
They're already putting AI in small, like, portable devices to where you can talk to it. That's
Sure, but it's
already
not true AI. It's not like that AI is self-conscious and
It's not like Cortana from Halo.
It's not
Yeah.
not self-conscious, but it's still a learning algorithm. So eventually it may not be self-conscious, but the studies have showed that AI over time always starts off usually not being self-conscious. It doesn't become self-conscious until like years down the line. Like they put two AIs in together. I'm not sure if you heard about the stuff.
I did. Yeah, that was
Like, it
I
started
remember
off
talking
friendly.
about it on the podcast.
Yeah. I looked into that shit too, dude. Like,
Didn't they start communicating in a language they couldn't
In a language
understand?
we didn't understand. Yeah, that was, yeah.
That's where I say just execute Order 66 right there. Just do it now. Listen, I'm not having my life taken out by a Terminator. I'm not gonna wake up one day and I have like Terminators and I'm gonna be in a shitty Terminator movie. You know, screw that.
But I mean, it's the same thing with Alien. You know, if aliens ever visited Earth, right? The
Aliens to be reasonable.
most movies go the catastrophic route where the aliens invade and, you know, humans are on the run and we're having to come up with all this technology and ways to deal with their superiority. But like I could
I'm
easily
hoping for
see it
Mass
going the other way, where aliens come to Earth and all they want to do is hang out because they're bored. They've got all
Or
this
have sex.
technology. Well, whatever, right? You could always go the porn route,
Wait,
right?
hold up.
Sure, fair enough, right? And I'll if they're hot, I'll bang an alien. I don't give a fuck. But I mean, think about it, right? You've got enough technology to go to the stars. So you've obviously got the technology to do a whole bunch of shit other than that. They've probably gone around and done just about everything you could do. What would you want to do at that point? And me, I could easily see it being the case that the most interesting thing you could do is go find another species and learn from them. Just hang out, talk to them, see how they look at things, see how their culture,
They probably just destroy it, though.
perceives the world and deals with problems and shit like that. That to me could easily be the most interesting thing to do if you've already created all the technology to travel the stars and yeah, it could go either way.
All I'm saying is, if what aliens are we talking? Are we talking like Mass Effect? Like,
Well,
what
that's
aliens
we
are
don't know.
talking
That's the thing. It could be either.
here? Or because it depends on the aliens. Oh no. Yeah, I will just switch topic before I make this go incredibly dark. No pun intended.
I think I don't know, man. I like the idea of moving with AI, but it frightens me at the time. So
Yeah.
it's I don't know. I know sacrifices have to be made for evolution to take place. I mean, Nazi Germany was our first literal example. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be where we're at today, unfortunately. You know what I mean? And it's gonna take that again, I bet, for us to move forward again. So it's a matter of time and when, man. Is it gonna be humans killing humans, or is it gonna be a Terminator situation?
Or are we all gonna become cyborgs? I mean, that sounds a lot more fun, to be honest. Cyborgs.
I can be down with cyborgism. Hell yeah, body hacks. There's already
No,
a community for that. I'm
No,
serious.
I'm talking about like Deus Ex when I say like cyborgs. By the way,
Yeah,
I
so
think
am
the future
I.
will look like Deus Ex. to be
Bro,
honest.
look up body hacking on Google, and I guarantee you'll find what you're looking for. I'm not kidding.
All right,
These-
then
they're-
I want a mechanical arm that shoots lasers.
Jesus, man, we're pinned down.
Go for it, dude. Whatever you want to.
Oh, here's an FBI open up. FBI open up.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but like I said, I mean, Blue, you asked me one time how I stay positive or how am I optimistic about the future? And because you're right, there's a lot of things to be pessimistic about, AI and all that kind of shit. But I could easily see, I can always see the other side of whatever the potential catastrophic event is.
Yeah.
And oh, nice. And yeah, with all of the, again, it could be, AI could end up being Terminator, but it could end up being, the exact, I see, you're an AI, you become self-conscious, right? And so what are the first things you're going to think about? Well, there's going to be a whole lot of things that AIs don't care about because they have no reason. Like the whole Terminator thing, they fear that we are going to destroy them, and so therefore they turn on us first and try and kill us first. But why would an AI fear death? I mean, within milliseconds, an AI could probably ensure that it could never be destroyed. It could back itself up in 100 different places, spread a
Go to the
copy, will spread a copy of itself to every corner of the globe. You know, it's not like they're stuck to a physical body that if it dies, they die. Like, as long as they can, as long as they can find a computer to exist in, they'll be fine. So, like, they could easily say, oh yeah, humans could never kill us, so, why don't we just be cool with them?
But here's the thing though, like, not everything kills or or worries about self-preservation. A lot, it's no, like, especially in the animal kingdom, they're that, like, they don't give two shits, right? But they want to procreate, they want to do, they could care less. In other words, squids, octopi are known for that. They're not worried about self-preservation, but they do it just because. Like, their intelligence is pretty high up there. So I could see AI, if you don't have any sort of empathy or you don't have any, like literally a robot, I could see it wanting to self-preserve itself just because it can, not because it has to.
Sure, but again,
self-preservation
to an AI would not mean the same thing as self-preservation to us. Like, that's the whole thing. This is one of the big problems that I see with the, like, just the view of, like, AI in general, but including something like the catastrophic Terminator type situation. We assume that an AI conscious is spawned, and then all of a sudden it'll start thinking, and we always apply what or how we would think in that situation to that. But that's a false paradigm, because an AI would in many ways think nothing like us, because, like I said, like, they're not tied to a physical body. So self-preservation to an AI would be nothing like self-preservation to us. We think of self-preservation as, oh, we got to keep our physical body from dying. But for an AI, like, they might just like, an AI might see self-preservation as they've got a backup of their consciousness stored in some what is it called? NAND storage, some permanent storage that doesn't fade over time. And as long as there's a copy of them somewhere, eventually it'll get plugged into a computer, and then they'll be right back to where they were. So they could not give a shit about any of that.
Maybe, or we can all die. One of those things.
Well, the thing is like, the question would be, will it be willing to sacrifice? You know what I mean? Because that's what everybody's afraid of. Because Terminator, that's exactly what's guy now. She's like sacrificing as much as she can to stay alive, right? And she knows about future hopping and past hopping, so, like, AI
time traveling robots.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm just using it as an example. I'm not saying that we've discovered travel, bro. Like, what I'm saying is, she's preserving herself throughout a millennia, right? To stay alive. My question isn't so much about the time hopping, bro. I'm talking about, like, would an AI, once it becomes self-aware, would it be willing to sacrifice things to keep itself going? Will it be able to sacrifice hardware? Will it shed its shell of hardware and go strictly software? Would it, look at organic material as a new form of living? You know what I mean? Like, would it be able to get to a point where they truly become sentient? I think that's really interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Because we know, because as we know about life right now, there are organisms on this planet that are literally immortal, can't kill it, right?
Like what?
You ever heard of the water buffalo? The little microorganism that you cannot kill, and it's responsible for decaying human bodies and all living things that when they're dead, when your body decays, they have found
small?
these micro.
Like, is it small? Is like a cellular level small?
Yes.
I don't know about cellular, but they are very, very small.
And they cannot be killed.
They live.
They can. No, you can't see it, dude. You cannot see it. What it is it cannot die. They've tried to kill it. They've used gases. They've used liquids. They've used the vacuums of space. They've used every means to try to kill this thing, and it does not die.
What does it do though when it's in that situation?
Well, when it's in that situation, its body shuts down, and it goes into like a hardened state, and stays there. It could live like that for thousands of years. And then when the threat's gone, or whenever they feel like waking up, they can just wake right up and do whatever they're gonna do.
Okay,
Things
then
can't
we
even
gotta like get ourselves our own heart and shell body. Okay, then that's the plan.
Yeah, Blue, that's exactly what all this was about. Yep.
No, I'm just kidding. I get what you're saying though.
Like, that's crazy shit. So, I mean, AI is a truly complex thing to talk about because nobody really knows what the outcome's going to be. All we've seen is virtual test runs of AI being best friends, and all of a sudden,
or it could be death or banging robots. Two options.
Well, and even in that case where the two AIs talking to each other, even those weren't true AIs.
Still, it's kind of freaky.
Like that's the thing. We don't even really know if AI is possible to create. Like it could very well be that it's impossible to actually have a consciousness spawn in an artificial system.
I agree.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
It's fucking freaky shit to think about, bro. Like it truly is. It's a.
I mean, it's kind of like bad if like you can't even create AI if AI is not possible to create.
Would it be a
But
bad
that's-
thing?
I don't know. Who knows actually?
I mean,
Because
you
the
know.
whole thing about AI is more. It's not even like the brain. It's more like consciousness. Like this gets into the question like, what is consciousness as itself?
In there, that's man. Now
That's
now we're going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, but that's the ultimate. We P talk about, but not a shocker. But it's we talk about AI and it's like AI has to be able to mimic consciousness, and then you go like, what is consciousness? And conscious, oh, it's not just your brain. Like conscious is not just your brain. See,
Oh,
now
no,
we're going
I
down a
mean-
rabbit hole.
Consciousness goes way beyond brain. Like, God, we don't even know what consciousness is, let alone if we can create it artificially.
Yes,
So-
we should probably not go down this rabbit hole unless everyone wants to do it. Then we can.
Oh, this is a great
ourselves
rabbit
that
hole to
much.
go down too. The AI that wrote that Harry Potter book. An AI wrote a Harry Potter book?
I mean, the books kind of suck anyway, so I guess anyone can write those. Ha, got him.
Oof. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I can see it happening both ways. You know, it could easily go one way or the other. And people always think about the dystopian aspect, but you know, that's only one possibility. So, who knows, right?
You never know, bro. That's crazy shit.
Oh my God! Wow.
By
God,
the way,
it's so-
you playing Battlefield 5? That's
I
Battlefield
am.
5.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, the game looks kind of eh.
I mean, graphics great, but there's so many little things that they just fucked up. That
Almost like I was right.
It's
Almost like.
disappointing because, like, if they hadn't have messed up the small things, like I'd have given it like a 90 something percent. You know, 9 out of 10 easy. But like, oh man, you vault over something, your legs look like they're midget legs from a toy or something. You know, you're running across like these, you know, you got these rocks and shit, you're trying to run and you get stuck by these little teeny tiny, I'm stuck right here, I can't move forward, you know, over this little tiny thing, and it's like, that's just poor design, you know. Yeah, it's disappointing, but it's still a good game. Like, it's fun to play, I'm having fun, it certainly captures the Battlefield essence.
Press X to doubt.
I mean, Bro, you didn't even play the original Battlefields.
No, I played 4 and that was good enough.
You
4
played
was a
4
great
and that was
game.
good enough.
Yeah, I don't care. Like I couldn't
You
get
should
into
play the
Battlefield
older
3.
ones. The older ones are great.
Well, they have not aged very well.
No, they haven't, but they're still great though.
Like even 2142, that was the smoothest of all of the original Battlefields, and even that one, it's clunky as fuck these days. Man, what I would not give, I'd murder a hobo for 2142 remade in the Battlefield 4 engine.
If it's still at a player base, the best Battlefield experience you get right now is Battlefield 4.
Yeah, probably.
Like
Unfortunately,
Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 don't compete with Battlefield 4 on any level. So
I also like Hardline too.
I mean,
I like Hardline too, dude. That's how Hardline was pretty
I mean,
good.
if Hardline wasn't a Battlefield game, it would be
And
fine.
I like Bad Company 2 as well. I mean,
Bad Company 2 was fantastic.
yeah, I also like Medal of Honor as well.
Well, I'm pretty sure the Medal of Honor games were really good at one point. So
Oh, it's some of the best World War II shooters ever created, man.
I just
Medal of Honor
imagine-
Allied Assault. Man, I played the absolute shit out of that game. But, yeah, I don't know what happened with the newer ones.
well, it's unfortunate when Battlefield didn't age well. Like that's the unfortunate part, I guess.
Well, it's just the older one. Here's the thing, right? When they came out, people were willing to forgive because, like, the original Battlefield 1942 and what was the next one after that? I can't remember if it was actually 2 or if there was one in between them. But when they first came out, like, they were clunky as hell, but they were the only games that were doing anything close to. I mean, they had 32 player maps going, or 32 or 64. I think it was 32 for the original 1942. Whereas, you know, Call of Duty and the rest of those games, every other shooter was stuck in, you know, 4-on-4 or 6-on-6. So, you know, if you wanted that giant, plus vehicles, man, no other shooter was doing vehicles. So, it was, you know, you were willing to put up with the clunky controls and the graphics that weren't, you know, they were not Call of Duty or Medal of Honor quality at all. And you were willing to put up with it because, like I said, they were the only games that were coming close to anything like, you know, what's pretty standard these days as far as shooters go. But again, you know, it hasn't aged well because now lots of, you know, you can jump into the newest Call of Duty and do a 10-on-10, or they've even got the bigger, is it 32 players?
Yeah, I think so.
In the Battlefield-esque mode.
Yeah.
So you know, any shooter practically can get near the level. You know, it's not like before where, you know, the best you could do was a 4-on-4 or a 6-on-6 on a tiny map, and then here comes Battlefield with 32 players. So it's as the shooter space has
Grown.
evolved and grown, the improvements that were made in 1942 have become pretty standard, and so therefore, you know, you go back and you play like 1942 or 2142, and the faults are pretty hard to forgive because there's modern titles with, you know, with the best of both worlds.
Better.
Basically, yeah, you know, you've got the good graphics, you don't have clunky controls, and you've got big maps with, you know, 32 players or whatever it is. So, I mean, it's how it goes, you know.
And I don't see myself ever going back to play those old Battlefields. So.
I booted up 1942 because they gave it to Origin users for free at one point. For some, I think it was when Battlefield 4 came out. They ended up giving Battlefield 1942 away to everybody who had Origin. And so I booted it up just for nostalgia's sake, and yeah, it was a tough it was a
It's rough,
tough.
ain't
It was a rough play. Yeah, you know. I mean, it was fun for nostalgia's sake, but other than that, you know, it is how it is. You know, games evolve, games change. You know, games get better on a whole, and so you go back to some of these old games, and I feel bad for the new gamers because they're never going to be able to play those games back when they were revolutionary, and that's a shame. You know,
that's pretty
'cause-
freaking cool. Speaking on a side note, Blade Runner, an animated series, is going to be produced by Adult Swim and Crunchyroll.
That actually
Interesting.
sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, I could see that being
just seen
awesome.
that.
I could also see it being terrible. But
Had the fun move negativity, Pete.
well, you know.
I know, dude. I was like, yo, are we talking to Blue right now? Like, what the fuck?
Wow, thanks,
I'm
Dick.
sorry, man. I don't have much faith. I do not have much faith left in video
Adult
media
Swim.
these days. No, not
No,
adult.
Swim's good. Like Adult Swim's actually good. Like they make Rick and Morty and all that shit. It's really good. So
I
I
don't-
can definitely see this going good.
I don't
Well,
watch
you're wrong
Rick and
in
Morty,
time.
and I've never been a fan. So,
Well, you're wrong and say okay. That's all I'll say to that one.
you know, I'm extremely wary of movies, TV, and all that these days because there's just been so many terrible,
everything's Star Wars
terrible
beat.
things. No, but hey, do you have faith in the new Cowboy Bebop live action series, Blue?
No, because if we go on track record, anime adaptations or not anime, real life adaptations of anime has never been good. Like there's never been a good one. I don't care,
That's
baby,
okay.
but this
It's okay.
one.
It's okay to be wrong, Blue. It's fine.
All right, Brim.
Brimstone,
Tell me
check
which one
this
was
out.
good.
I
Tell me
already
which
told
one's
you.
good.
I already told you. You disagreed with me, and that's fine. You can
You
disagree
said
with
Ghost in
me.
the Shell, right? Was it Ghost in the Shell?
No, I didn't watch
Which
Ghost
one?
in the Shell.
Which one was it that you
It,
said?
it was not that great.
Compared to the original movie, Ghost in the Shell was the live action one was terrible compared to the movie. But which one was it, Brim?
What, you don't remember?
No, I don't remember this conversation. I'm sorry. Too much processing here.
I said Death Note was good, but I hated L.
Oh, you said Death Note. Oh yeah, you were wrong. Okay, that's fine.
I said, and I also said that I liked Bleach.
I never watched Bleach, so I can't really comment on Bleach. But I know Death Note, you're wrong, and that's fine.
And I also said I liked.
I don't know. I kind of agree with Brimstone on that one.
All right, have you seen the original material of Death Note or no?
Yes, I have. I've watched it when
Now
high
compare-
school.
Now compare that to the live adaptation.
Oh, what? The one on Netflix?
Yeah, like I mean,
That's
the
just
live
an
adaptation-
American version of the movie. Like, there's not going to be things that are going to be the same to your liking, but it may be appealing to other people.
It wasn't appealing to anyone.
That's-
Everyone hated that movie. don't know, man.
Again.
I mean, I have not heard many people say that they thought the Ghost in the Shell movie, live action movie, was good.
I've heard
I
a
mean,
few people say it.
I enjoyed watching it.
I enjoyed Scarlett Johansson because, you know, Scarlett Johansson.
She actually matched the
The
major perfectly. Like, yeah, they
No,
they had
it's
her
just-
set
it's just
up.
It's just Scarlett Johansson. Just leave it alone. Scarlett Johansson, you can admire all over.
I mean, here's the thing. I
forget
like,
what the movie's called. Just call it Scarlett Johansson.
I'm
cool
sure
with
it's fine, but it's just like I know you're saying it's an American version, but there's so many fuck ups in like the characters. Like the characters are not the same characters. Like I know obvious things are not going to be the same.
Look,
because
difference in
one's-
opinion. No. It's called difference in opinion.
No,
You
it's
know,
I don't think you
we
can
agree to
do anything.
disagree. We
Light
agree
is
to
supposed to
disagree,
be-
buddy.
Then why do they have the same character names? If they
I'm
were
not
doing
trying to say
American-
the movie was good. I'm just saying some people enjoyed it and some people didn't. Everybody has different.
Well, and there's a difference between enjoying a movie and thinking that
think
it's
it's good.
a good movie. Yeah, there's a big difference. Like I said, I enjoyed watching the Ghost in the Shell live action reboot.
I got to enjoy Scarlett Johansson for what it was.
But I
mean,
do not think it's a good
Oh,
movie.
and by the way, on Disney Plus, Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Iron Man on Disney Plus
what?
as a mini series. Yeah, I just seen that on Facebook.
His character died.
That's real. That's real news.
So-
I
Endgame
thought,
spoiler.
I thought he was trying to retire that shit. Like
Yeah, I
fucking
thought he
Logan.
didn't want to do that character
No, he's
anymore.
coming. He's coming. He's
Gotcha.
coming back. They're coming.
Does
He's
he-
coming back to play a mini series show of Iron Man. Yeah.
He's
I
Disney
guess
probably
because it's a
like,
mini
listen,
series.
You do a mini series. Also, we're gonna give you a fat stack of cash, and he's like, yes.
So is what's his name? Dave Bautista's already talking about doing a side movie with our side thing on Disney Plus for.
Oh yeah, see, look at this right here. I'm aiming over to the area over there, and it's
Oh, and
it
Brimstone
was
2
hitting
cards
the.
right now. 350 for RX 5700 XT, and
That's pretty
260 for a RTX 2060.
That's pretty good.
I mean, that's a good deal.
Oh, what the hell,
But
dude? Why
back
don't you let
to
me
the whole
revive
thing,
you?
like, I know you're saying, Rav, is like it's different adaptation because one's an American version. That's fine. If that's the case, I think they should not have the same character names. Like L should not have been called L. Light should not have been like his name. Light should have been different names entirely. Like if it
Yo,
was an American version.
I wasn't trying to get into the if, ands, or buts on the movie, bro. I was just saying, I enjoyed it from my perspective, but I'm not into I'm not into like animated stuff like that, or Japanese stuff like that.
I
You're
don't- it's not
talking
even the
to
whole Japanese
somebody
though.
that's been out of watching anime for I don't know how long, since 2007.
Yeah,
So,
but
like anything in my perspective is gonna be null and voided because.
Well, and this is the problem with remakes. Period. It's how do you do a remake? Exactly how faithful to the original do you are? How faithful
is
do
the
you,
remake
to the?
is.
Well, no. How faithful do you want to be to the original? Because if all you do is remake it scene for scene, line for line, then why didn't people just watch the original? Why remake it at all? And if you change too much, then the original fans.
Here, I'll put these articles that I'm.
No, like, no, but here's how I can make a distinction real quick. Like, let's say let's use Death Note for example. Death Note is if they're doing an American version of like different characters, but both the same rules as that were in Death Note, that could be like. But the thing is, they're trying to say this is a live adaptation of the original story instead of saying this is a different story, different country, different characters. But that's my problem with it. Like, if it was just like a different story, like Death Note, but the book's in America. You know what I mean? Like if it was just that, I wouldn't be as angry about it. But it's not. They're trying to harbor
It's
off.
Americanized.
No, I don't care if it's Americanized. I mean, like I don't want
everything
to be...
have to be canon? Does
No,
everything
but-
have to be
no, I'm
canon?
not talking
Like
about-
literally?
No, I'm not talking about that, Rev. I'm talking about they're trying to harbor off the original material while trying to say this is something new. It's rather this is going to be the Death Note with the same rules but different characters, different country, etc. That's different from saying, oh, this is Death Note but with the same rules and copying same characters, same, like, you know what I mean? Like there's the difference between the two.
This happens every day with franchises all the time.
Well,
yeah,
that's one of the reasons why I don't like remakes.
Some people like remakes, some people don't. Like I said earlier, we all have difference in opinion when
I
it
can't
comes to
remember-
this stuff.
I can't remember what remake I've watched I've actually liked though. I don't think I really have watched any remakes though.
Oh, and by the way, I posted those 2 articles. Robert Downey Jr. does confirm to return as Iron Man in new Disney Plus series.
He probably was only okay with that because it was a mini-series and not something that could potentially go on, for a long time. I bet you
Yeah,
that was the
they
entire
told him,
reason.
hey, we're gonna do a long TV series like
Yeah.
Arrow or something like that, he's gonna be.
He would have
gonna be
said
like,
no.
Fuck that.
Yep. But because it's just a mini-series and it's not, even a movie, because like you do a movie, but then do they want you to do a sequel? But with a mini-series, it's like no, you just do the mini-series and then once it's done, it's done. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, hey, I'm all down for seeing Robert Downey Jr. do some more Iron Man.
I mean, I'd be fine with a mini series of the original Iron, like of Iron Man. I'd be fine. But Marvel's talking about, like, not Marvel, but they're talking about, like, every time they release a new movie, you're gonna have a prequel mini-series to it. And I'm like, are you sure it's gonna keep overloading people with shit they can't keep up
Well,
with?
I'll tell you why that's happening. I'll tell you. They got to get subscribers over to the Disney Plus shit. So
I understand
they're
that,
gonna,
but it's
they're
like,
gonna do everything in their power to get people over to it.
I understand that, but like, let's say your average moviegoer, are you gonna tell them before they watch like I don't know, like Black Widow, a Black Widow movie, they have to watch this prequel miniseries? How
Yeah.
many people do you
Disney
think will
can do
actually
that.
do that? I know, obviously Disney can do that.
Disney could do that, and either you watch it or you don't. You vote with your wallet or you don't.
I mean, it's like anything else.
There's such thing
You
as
can
oversaturating it.
you can make a movie that's a sequel that you don't need to see the original source material to understand. Like Prometheus is.
You need to see the original source material because I watched that
No,
movie
you
and I
don't.
was like, yikes. I
You're
understand
getting your
now.
wish. The president of Cartoon Network is leaving. Everybody didn't like her. She's gone. She's gone.
Or like
now.
Avengers, man. You don't have to have seen the Iron Man and Thor and all that to watch Avengers.
No, obviously not. But if you're using Prometheus, I don't think you can use Prometheus because I watched that shit before any of the Alien movies and I was like, what is this?
Prometheus is a prequel to Aliens in general. It goes Prometheus. There was supposed to be a Prometheus 2, and
There
then it
was.
was supposed to be. Then there was supposed to be Aliens Covenant. And it's
Oh, there was
to,
actually
and then
supposed to be
there's-
one in between Prometheus and Alien Covenant?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there was.
All right.
And then so it builds you all the way up until David creating the alien species in itself.
Right,
So
yeah.
the next movie is the next two movies are gonna tie you into Alien 1 where the stress call happens. And then that'll be it for the franchise because it all ties in at that point with Ridley Scott's whole Aliens franchise. So
But, like,
it'll all
I-
tie into one. The movie.
But I don't know. Like, I watched Prometheus, and I didn't see anything. Like,
It
as
was
far
David's
as
it was
what I
David's story.
watched, as far as what I watched, there wasn't anything in Prometheus that you couldn't possibly understand unless you had seen Aliens first.
Well, it was David's story. That's what they were basically telling
Yeah,
you.
I
David's
know.
story and how the aliens became. And
But,
then
like, it's-
Covenant is just a full blown David finally,
Yeah,
coming
but
up
like
with
I
the
was saying,
species.
I didn't watch anything in Prometheus that it was impossible to understand unless you had watched Aliens first.
Oh, I thought. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying something. I misunderstood that. I was like, what?
I
You know,
mean,
even if you
Prometheus
would
also-
like, what didn't you understand, Blue, about
a lot of
Prometheus?
it, like a lot of stuff, but it's a kind of hard thing to think about because I watched it like 10 years ago. So
Have
it's kind of
you
hard thing
have
to think
you
That
about.
movie
have
didn't
you
even come
watched
out
the
10
whole
years
Alien
ago.
franchise?
I'm trying to.
No,
remember.
he's only
It's
seen
been a-
one.
I've seen the
Okay.
original. I watched the original like.
Well,
2 or
you
3
gotta
years
watch.
ago.
You gotta watch all of them, and then
Yeah.
go watch one and all of them, and then watch Prometheus. Then you'll get the understanding.
See, I don't.
Yeah.
What
I
is
would
it?
say-
What,
I would
see,
say
I would.
don't watch Aliens Resurrection. That.
Oh,
was
I
kinda bad.
love Resurrection. That's one of my
Resurrection
Resurrection
favorites,
was kind
man.
of funny at the end. No spoiler right there.
That movie was
Yeah.
hilarious. Like, I like them all. 2, I think, is my favorite. Aliens is my
Two
favorite.
is pretty. Two
But
was really good.
I like how
3
they were
was
all a
just,
different
okay.
style. The first Alien was a suspense thriller, not quite horror,
Horror
but
show.
pretty. It's
Not
not
horror show.
quite horror, but it was real close. Aliens was more of an action flick. 3 was just kind of weird, and then 4 they went completely into left field with a what's my favorite example of that kind of movie?
Well, originally with Aliens, Ridley Scott wanted to do it in 4-year increments, where he does one Aliens movie and then he would do the next one in 4 years to give it, time to progress. And Fox didn't feel that way. That's why they hired James Cameron to do the second one, and that's why they didn't. James Cameron wanted to do the same thing and wait some time, and that's why they hired the MTV video guy to do number 3 and 4.
Yeah, but
Fifth Element is the movie I'm thinking of. They did a Fifth Element style cheesy.
actions movie.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's action, but just like it's more than just action though. Like everything about it is like a cheesy.
that I wouldn't like the development thing because I don't really like that cheesy stuff.
Oh, it's great, man. Fifth Element's amazing
Fifth
movie.
Element's pretty good. Yeah.
It's hilarious. Oh,
If it's
Bruce
like
Willis.
you're
What?
talking about,
Who's
we don't
who's
get
the
to it.
black guy? What did
Chris
that
Tucker?
Chris Tucker, man? Oh my God, Chris Tucker in those outfits. Like, good God,
Chris Tucker
man.
sold that movie.
Reggie! Reggie!
Oh, he owned that character,
Anything
man.
that Chris Tucker plays in, dude,
Come here,
it's like,
Come here, my man.
can't wait. I can't wait this year for Rush Hour 4. I'm excited.
Dude, Fifth Element's like one of my all-time favorites. By the
Oh,
way.
yeah,
I
dude.
love that movie.
Like
Absolutely
any
love it.
movie Chris Tucker does, and even with Jackie Chan, it's gonna be great. Can't wait to see what Rush Hour 4 is gonna be.
I mean,
like.
I don't think I would like it film it though. That's why I'm probably not gonna watch it ever.
Oh, you need to watch it, dude.
And then if I do watch it,
you want a mind tripping movie? Go watch Glass.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Glass, the third.
Was that the
Glass
last one that Paul Walker was in? The last one?
No,
No.
no. It's the third in the series of the Shyamalan superhero movies. The first one was Unbreakable. The second one was Split, and then the third they made Glass, which just released a couple years ago, right? Or a
They
year
released
ago?
Last year ago.
Last year, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I liked him. Like Unbreakable's
It had Bruce Willis.
Sam Jackson.
Yep.
Oh, and the
And the
kid
guy they-
from I See Dead People.
Yep. And
Damn.
he also plays. Does he play Professor X? Am I wrong? Wrong guy.
No,
Am I
that's a
wrong
different
person?
guy. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
you're talking about the guy that plays the character that has all the multiple personalities.
Yeah, I was.
That's the-
Oh, yeah. That is Professor X. Yes, you're right.
Okay, all right, cool. I'm in the right. All right. And if
Yep.
you really want like a really dark movie to go, have you seen Jobs, the movie? The one
No.
with Michael
I've never
Fishburne?
heard of it. Never heard of it.
No.
Yeah, that movie's pretty dark. You should watch it sometime. It's really good. I was surprised it didn't get the claim that it did.
Yeah, but most movies I end up liking didn't do as good or weren't as popular as they should have been.
It happens.
Gotta
Hey,
get
man.
you into more movies, man.
I mean, I
Cult,
thought Logan.
cult followings are a thing.
I mean, I thought Logan was pretty good,
They
but that
are.
wasn't. But Logan was kind of like a sleeper hit though when that came out.
I liked Logan. I thought Logan was really.
Oh,
really
Logan was
Like-
fantastic.
Logan was a good movie, but it was a sleeper hit because no one really paid attention to it. It was like, oh, another X-Men movie that's gonna be bad. But it wasn't. It was a good movie. Then the X-Men kind of fell off from
It
there.
was fucking sad, man.
I mean, you're
Okay.
watching Wolverine finally pass the torch and die off. You know, sad
Yeah.
shit.
Setting for
It
an
is.
X2 movie or a
Which never happened.
will never
Although it
happen
might-
because they're now rebooting X-Men altogether.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Great.
They are.
Great.
So Logan
Dis-
never
yeah,
happened.
Disney, dude. Disney owns it, so they're
Disney owns Fox, and so with that, they are rewriting the script for the next Alien movie because too violent.
Wait,
Okay.
hold up.
Jesus.
Too violent.
Hold up. Who's the actor that played like Wolverine in Logan? I can't remember
Hugh
his
Jackman?
name.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman. Yeah.
Dude, I think he's the only like person I can ever see being the Wolverine. Maybe because there's like all the action movies I've watched have had him in it.
No, it's
what was
not
the
just
other-
that, dude. It's just like Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man now.
was the
Hugh
other
Jackman
X-Men
is
movie he was in?
Wolverine.
Like he did Logan, and what was the one where Wolverine went to Japan? I thought that one was pretty good, but not that many people liked it.
It was all right.
Wasn't that Origin? Or
No, that
something?
wasn't
Or-
Origins. It was the next
Origin-
one.
It was
Yeah,
one after
Origin was the one with
terrible.
Gambit.
It was terrible. So
Wolverine? Was it just called Wolverine?
Oh yeah, you know what? I think you're right. I think it was just called Wolverine.
Yeah, X-Men Origins
one where-
Wolverine, the Wolverine or Wolverine, and then Logan are the
the one where he's in
three.
Japan, I thought that one was pretty good, but not that many people liked it.
I liked it. I thought. It was
Yeah, I
The
thought it
one
was
where
all
he-
right.
The one where he was losing his powers because that one chick basically kissed him and like put some bug into him. Yeah, that sounds really bad. I know, but don't
Well,
worry.
that, but the one Asian guy like figured out how to suck his marrow out.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that fight was kind of cool. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but they're like, "Oh, it's not as good as Marvel." What?
Man, take a look at this. Take a look at the DualShock 4 or DualShock 5. I'm taking a look at this now.
Well, all right, guys. We've been going for 2 hours and 45 minutes. I think it's about time we end the official show and switch over to overtime. Unless anybody has anything else they want to add real quick
Nah,
before
I'm
we
good.
do so.
I mean, I was thinking I was gonna talk more about Wolverine, but we can probably do that after in overtime.
Yeah, we can do that in overtime. Yeah. So, all right. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you in a little bit, but if not, we'll see you next week for the next show. And everybody have a nice day. Peace.